to have that opportunity to say that, and that's why I am the reason why we watched this movie. And I'm the reason why we picked this movie, because we had brought up the idea of doing something of a nod to the Gay Pride Month, and Joe had brought up a movie, and I brought this up, and they both know that I had brought this up on other medias before. And look, I'm gonna say this. Spoiler alert with the Stranger by the Lake movie. I legitimately still love this movie. Watching this movie last night, I've seen it 3 or 4 times now. I love this, and I'm gonna liken this to what's the Brokeback Mountain. Like people, like I love how Brokeback Mountain is like the obvious like straight dude gay joke. Like, oh, you must be a big fan of Brokeback Mountain. Like, dude, it is funny, but like
I can't
that's
believe
a
people
fucking
still make
fun.
that joke in this fucking day and age.
What people have to understand is that movie's fucking fantastic.
It's
I've seen the
awesome.
movie 10 plus times, and it makes me cry. I'm a 6 foot, 260 pound large fellow. We're just gonna leave it that. And I cry every time during that movie, and I can pinpoint when it happens, and it makes me upset. And it's supposed to make you upset. It's supposed to make you, because it's not supposed to be about like, oh, two guys. It's supposed to be about two people who are in love, and a traumatic thing happens, and there you go, right? And that's called art, and that's called movie making, right? So it's supposed to separate. Uh, Man, I want to say so many things right now, but I'm going to hold back a little bit. It's supposed to separate the people who enjoy art from the people who are just there to watch it. You get what I'm saying? Like, and
Dude, I got you. I got
that's
you.
the
Trust
easiest
me.
way I can say it right now. We have a long night ahead of us. We just started, and I'm sure I'm going to have way better ways to be able to explain the way I feel about that as the night goes on. The way I don't want to open up the show with me, like throwing daggers at anybody. I don't want to exclude anybody either. That's the thing. Like, if you're not into things like this movie, that's fine. Don't watch this episode. Don't watch this movie. I will give you that spoiler alert. This movie is graphic. This movie gets into things that you might not be comfortable with.
Butts.
Don't watch it if you don't know anything about it. Butts, yeah, sure. Just butts. This movie's intense.
You
It's
see
an
a lot
intense
of
movie.
bums. You see a
Word
lot of
is erotica.
Yeah.
It's straight up erotica. I mean, it is.
Well, it is, but
Yeah.
I have. Hold on. I have a great excerpt that I'm going to read to you guys. Just a piece
Hmm.
of a very well respected movie critic, a Roger Ebert. We all know who he is.
Hmm.
That reviewed this movie, and when you hear his take on it, you go, "That's not erotic." I mean, he calls it sexy, and he does say that. I'll read that in a minute.
Maybe I don't mean
But
straight up, but it has. I meant
yeah,
elements of. But yeah,
yeah. I
you're
agree.
right.
It's here's
And
what it is, Joe. It's a
Roger
horror
Ebert.
movie.
Wow.
Right, and he loved it, and he raves about this movie. If you can read his review on it, it's very easy to find. I have a clip, just one, the opening clip of his statement for this movie, and I wanted to read that once we get into the movie, which we will in a minute.
Hmm.
But spoiler alert: there's somebody even like him. This movie is just one of those movies that you go, "Oh no, this is a fucking artistic movie." Like, you
Hmm.
either love it or you can either sit and watch it as a movie and just accept it for what it is and enjoy the story, or you can be uncomfortable, and that's fine, and
Hmm.
that's life. That's the whole. It's almost like a euphemism for life in general, right? It's the idea of, um, can you take certain things? It's the same idea as like separating art from artists, right? Like we I'm not going to get into naming names or bands or anything, or artists or book writers or anything else, but I mean, can you separate the art from an artist? Can you separate having passion for something that you might not necessarily back the person who created that art with, right? Like, uh, take certain albums, for instance, right? From bands. Can you sit there
Hmm.
and listen to an album after something might have come out about that person? Absolutely. Me, I can separate the art from the artist. I can absolutely go, hey, let's just use the easiest one for an example. Michael Jackson. I still love Thriller.
Yep.
Never going to change my opinion about Thriller. He's a piece of shit. I do think he's 100% a molester. That's my opinion. If you watch the documentaries, it makes it clear cuts it, obviously. But hey, whatever, right? That's the story. That's the situation. It doesn't stop the fact that
Marilyn
I love
Manson.
his music. It is what Marilyn Manson's a great example of that. I mean, it is. I still love
Yeah.
I
his
still
early
love the
stuff.
music, man. It's not.
I'm never not going to love the music from the. I'm never not going. I still have a
I've
Manson
taken a
dollar.
breather, but I know I'll be going back to the older stuff at some point. Yes,
I
I
have
agree.
a Manson dollar right there.
I still have mine
Holy
up. I
crap.
still have mine in my closet too. Yep.
Yep, I have it right there. It's above my head in front of my daughter's.
But the second all this stuff came out, it was all about, for him it was the golden age of grotesque.
But listen, here's the. I just like anything else. what this movie's gonna be is
Nice little
it's
humor
gonna,
for you.
wait. No, I was gonna say, thank God you. I hope you. I'm so glad you're kidding. Oof, that almost cracked my soul. Anyways, enough about the heavy stuff. That was kind of a heavy open. That was kind of a heavy open.
I'll be honest with you, I think it was a perfect opening. Actually, I think it was really
Thank
good.
you.
So,
I appreciate that. Well, cheers to that. Again, I wanted to
hey,
make sure that
cheers, guys.
I wanted to make my point, being who I am and what I stand for, well known, and we'll get into that more in the
Hell
movie.
yeah.
'Cause look, the movie, guys, we're gonna get
I'll
into
stay
some
with you.
graphic-
I stand with you. I'll stay with you
Oh.
as a co-host and as a fellow human being. I stay with you 100% on all that. So that's it. I don't need to say too much.
Appreciate
So
that.
I mean,
But you know,
all-
we've had many private conversations. You know how I am about a lot of stuff.
the
so.
only thing
100%.
the only thing I ever have to say about that type of stuff, and to go along with your opening, is it's the easiest motto I've always had, and honestly, it's the motto that pretty much Ed and I with our mom that she always brought down to us. Just don't be a dickhead, man. It's not that hard. Stop being a dick.
Yeah, it's
I
not
don't
hard.
Dude,
understand.
a lot of moms said that. Don't be a dick.
No, just I don't understand
dick.
why it's that fucking hard. Just stop
Right.
being a dickhead, and that's all. That's all it is. You know, we all have skeletons in our closet,
90s.
especially people in this movie. But you know, people that like to murder other people. But you know, besides that, don't be a dick.
Now let's get into the fun stuff about this movie. I did do a little.
Before you do that, real quick,
Go ahead.
is it
I don't
not
wanna take it.
90 degrees in Rhode Island? Why do you have a fucking skull cap on?
In my room,
Ben.
room, it's
Actually,
freezing
it's
out.
like 45
Is it
degrees
okay? You got your,
And it's
oh,
it's
wow.
it's super
Yeah,
cold in my room right now.
It's about 50. It happened out of
Yeah,
nowhere.
I legit might
wow.
grab a sweatshirt in a second too.
We're
It's
like
it's
we're like a humid 72
yeah,
right now.
it's
weird.
super fucking hot. It's super cold in here right now.
About 4 days ago, no joke, it was 106 degrees outside,
Yeah.
and the humidity was through the roof. And
Yeah.
it was my
That's,
office
dude,
was a fucking
that is
sweat
so
box.
Rhode
It was
Island.
terrible.
It's crazy.
It was
That
horrible.
brings it back to
Today,
like when I lived in
it's-
Rhode Island. It was 40 degrees in June at night one time.
Yep. Trust
Yeah,
me,
it's
crazy.
as much as I
Portland, it's
love
gonna
wearing
drop down almost 45 tonight.
as much as I love
It's
wearing
crazy.
hats, it's not just a fashion choice, but
No,
No,
it's
I just
cold as
want
fuck
I just want to tease you. That's all. I was. Just
How
kidding
dare
around.
you?
It is, you're not wrong. It's
are you
cold, dude.
bald shaming
Now,
me? Baldy?
Here's the deal. We do have a thing on the show where one of us is trying to give some kind of a nod to the movie. So if you haven't found
Yep.
the closest I could come to giving any kind of a nod with this movie, with being able to be played on things without showing nudity, is what Frank, the main character, typically shows up in. And the only thing I even have close to a Dolce and Gabbana polo is a Calvin Klein polo. From when and it is Calvin Klein, and it is from when I was selling cars. And I will be honest, yes, my arms are a little bit bigger than they were.
I have polos. I should have worn one. I didn't
So,
think of it.
Now,
I got the
here's
raft. That's all I
also-
can think of. A summer
if
shirt.
you, that's amazing. That's one. That I will talk about that. I would love to talk about that today because I know
Yeah.
exactly what that's from. And that movie,
Yep.
that sequence still scares the shit out of me.
The best
So-
one, yeah.
The biggest part of my cosplay, outside of the fact that if you don't catch on, he does walk up with polos often, high-end brands, Calvin Klein, Dolce and Gabbana. Hey, the closest I could come. Now, he also, Frank, the main character, is a frequenter of jorts.
It's true.
And I am also a frequenter of jorts.
It's true.
If you haven't put on, his aren't as quite as short as mine are, but they are.
Where are your
short.
white sneakers?
And well, I don't have those, Ben. So I was gonna go shoeless, but I figured I'd give you guys a nice opportunity to see me from the jorts up.
Damn,
if you get what I'm saying.
we can't even see.
If
We
you- if-
we can't
if
show
you-
toes on Twitch.
No,
Such a
but
shame.
can you see my
Toes
jorts?
on
Ben?
Twitch.
You can't show toes
Ben,
on Twitch.
Can you see my jorts? That's all that matters.
I just zoomed in
my
on you.
jorts.
I just zoomed in so people can really
My
see it.
jorts. My jorts.
Mm.
I mean, I might need to grab another beverage in a minute, guys. Can you guys see my jorts?
Mm.
Okay. It's Friday night. We're having fun. God damn it! If you can't have fun, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, fuck, baby,
It's a long
fuck.
weekend.
That's thick.
Let's have a good one. I'm a thick boy. Your boys. I've been pushing extra hard lately. I'm a little beefy, but that's besides the point. That doesn't matter. That's just me having fun. But the polo is as close as I could get tonight without being nude, and I'm not gonna do that. I might pop the top at some point, so you'll be lucky if you get that.
I do have a certain shirt. But I think we'll save it for we do Nightmare 2 with a documentary conversation.
I'm ready for that coming up eventually.
Was
Yeah.
it Dance Queen or something? Right? Or
Well, the dancing scene, yeah.
yeah.
That movie's amazing. All right, so fuck it. You guys ready to get into this one or what?
I'm
We've
ready,
been going
man.
for
I
about
mean,
10 minutes. I had a big old monologue about talking about what I felt about this movie. I talked about the
I
fact
didn't
that I
take
did
much
give a little
notes
bit of an
because I just watched
attitude.
it, but I'm gonna follow your lead.
You don't need to take a lot of notes. I did take a lot of notes, but I'm also going to free flow it. Listen, again, spoiler alert, and I don't mean like
Wait,
I'm not worried about you
oh,
being
excuse me.
surprised by the outcome of the movie. I mean, guys, this movie gets fucking graphic. So if you're not okay with anything that we're talking about, we're gonna play it as cool as we can, but realize that like this movie's graphic. It's a movie about a cruising beach in France on holiday. If you didn't know, Europeans have they'll get like 2 to 3 weeks off called holiday, and that's just like
Yeah, it's
the
fucking
state.
sweet.
Like that's
Yeah,
just what happens in the
everybody. Yeah.
country. Everybody gets the time off. So that's when that's when this movie is taking place. This movie is taking place during holiday. So this cruising spots are not something unfamiliar with. I have again a few friends in the community. I'm just going to call it the community, and they've told me about where there are places in Rhode Island like this. There are places everywhere like this, and that's just a thing. It's not uncommon. It's actually pretty normal. Now in Europe, it's a little bit different because they have new beaches and they don't look down on people for having new beaches. Like it just is a thing. And if you didn't notice in this movie, again, getting into the movie, this lake is just one lake where like one side is families, one side are like swingers, one side are gay guys, one like so, and it's just an open lake. So like if you're a family riding by on a boat, which happens at one point in this movie, you can just look over and see gay dudes laying out naked on the beach. Now, the gay dudes really rarely ever like have intercourse on the beach.
Yeah,
They go off in the
they
woods,
go off in the
and that,
woods.
it's somewhat secrecy. But like there's still just people naked on the beach. Now that's not an uncommon thing from what I've understood in Europe in general, right? Like especially France. I've never been there, but I know people that have, and I know some people that travel and tour and things like that. So what I've learned is not that far off from what this movie is telling us or showing us. This is a pretty realistic movie. Now, it's very artistic. It's it does fall into horror genre. I actually found this movie originally when I was looking for a new movie last either last year or the year before. I was just looking
It
for a good
wasn't
horror
last
movie. I
year.
was flipping through Shutter. It must have been the
I
year
remember you
before.
talking about it on Three Dudes.
Yeah, so it must have been maybe 2019. But I found it during the month of Halloween, 31 days of horror nights, Halloween, and we watch a horror movie every night or whatever. And I just, me and Kristen, my wife, were watching, going through, flipping through, and trying to find something cool to watch or whatever. And I was flipping through Shutter, and I see this movie pop up with a kind of a cool looking um, banner or billboard, whatever you want to call it, poster art. And I read the synopsis and I look it up and I'm like, oh wow, this thing won a bunch of awards. I mean, I love a good foreign movie personally. Like I love High Tension and I love Inside and I love uh,
You just named two good French horror
Old
movies in a row.
Boy. I
Even
love
though I
both of those.
hated the ending of High Tension, I still agree with you. It's still a decent movie.
Yeah. So the thing with that movie is if you watch there's like a director's cut if you or an unrated version and it kind of explains it a little bit better.
The director's cut is so much better.
Yeah, it is.
At least I think.
Yeah, it is.
It's been 15, 17, 18 years. I'll do that. It's been a
Because
long time.
I've seen both and they're both really good.
That's a movie I'd be interested to do just because it's a great movie. The Descent technically is I think it's a Canadian movie.
Yeah, but fuck
it's
Descent too.
definitely not American. It's foreign. Yeah, fuck that movie.
Canadian
The
UK.
Descent,
I think Neil Marshall
it's
is
something
UK,
like that.
but it was
I think you're right.
filmed in the Appalachian zone.
Okay, and I know that all the girls have American accents, so that's why I wasn't sure which one it is.
Yeah,
But
it was definitely a blend.
Yeah, The Descent is good.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck man, the Good Night Mommy, or which I would love to watch. I still never have. I brought that up a couple weeks ago.
I haven't seen it for the show. I haven't seen it yet.
Holy fucking Christ,
I
that
hear
movie's amazing.
things.
Holy fucking shit, dude, that movie's amazing. And then, fuck man, Eden Lake. Have you ever seen that with Michael fucking the dude who plays Magneto? Michael fucking Fassbender. Eden Lake is amazing.
Eden
is
Lake
amazing.
and Lake Mungo.
Is that the movie where you see his
Lake
ding dong?
Mungo's good too. I've seen that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. It's an English movie. It's about like two people who go to a lake for again a holiday,
and see his
and
ding dong.
Kids kind of just tear them apart, and it will make you hate people. It will definitely make you hate people. Even like so, what I'm getting at is I really do have an affinity for like good foreign horror movies, especially.
Mm-hmm.
Or fuck man, oh my god, I'm forgetting one of my favorites of all time. The Swedish movie. the vampire movie with the little girl and the boy. They redid here. It was not good.
It's not Let Me In.
Don't
Let
let
Me
the
In.
right one in.
Let the right one.
Let the right one in.
Yeah.
Let the right one.
That's
Yeah,
Thank you.
with Chloe.
That's the Swedish version. It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah. The shitty one is the
No,
Chloe.
Chloe's
She
Let
was-
Me In. That's
Yes.
Thank
the
you.
American version.
Yes.
Yes. Yep,
It's really
exactly.
bad.
Let Me In is the Chloe, whatever her name is.
Chloe,
yeah, that one's good too.
Kick Girl, Hit Girl from Kick Ass.
She was that girl.
Yeah.
She's a very good actress, but that movie was not that good.
You didn't like it?
Again,
I still haven't seen both of them, so I want to read the book.
You've never seen either one of them?
I have my moments, man, where I get too picky. Even me, you know.
I get it.
And
I get it.
I'm gonna do back to back at some point, so maybe we'll do it for the show. So
No, that's a good original versus remake. That really would be.
yeah,
Really, I mean, especially because you've never seen either. So, dude, that we haven't done one of those in a while. Like that would be one to do.
that's a good one to do.
Dude, because that fucking the original one is almost perfect. Like it's oh, Jesus Christ, it's so good. I mean, again, we rave about horror movies all the time, but so
Mm-hmm.
what I'm getting at is and what we're all getting at in general is the fact that we all appreciate a good foreign horror movie. I have no problem watching a movie with subtitles.
A lot of J horror. I was a big fan of J horror for a long time. I still am, but I had a good span of like just obsessive over J horror.
Okay. I had all that stuff
Like
too.
the
Weeb.
Yep.
The Ray, no, you talking about the Ring, right? You're talking about the Ring and fucking,
Dude, the Eye
Audition.
The Eye is literally one of
Takashi Miike had a lot of crazy shit.
Yeah.
the Audition. I know Old Boy, the Audition. I know the Raid. I know.
Oh, Old Boy's
What's
good
the
too.
new Train to Busan?
Train to Busan's
really
awesome. Train to Busan's really
that's
fucking
very
good.
Yep, that's a good movie. I don't know.
Thanks,
I
Joe
don't
Bob.
know the original Eye. I don't know the original Ring.
Fuck the Eye, dude. That
I've
shit.
seen both.
That movie scared the shit out of me as a kid.
The OG Grudge. I've seen the OG Ring.
The Grudge
remakes.
is the other one. The Grudge is the other one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
I need to get into those. I don't really know those as well. But so long story short, we're all big fans of foreign horror movies, and this is the first one that we've done actually on the show, right? So episode 10 being foreign movies, great.
We're
Just so
checking off all
happens
these
that
boxes though, which is nice.
Well, it checks off a lot, right? So it checks off horror. It checks off horror, but really more of a suspense thriller. It checks off foreign with subtitles. It checks off independent. It checks off award-winning. Like we haven't. I don't think we've done an award-winning movie yet.
It
it
definitely like a touchy subject, like a topic.
I was just gonna say it checks off controversial because it is technically only if you let it be. It's only controversial if you're not comfortable with what happens in the movie, right? So now that's on you. And again, I get that. No big deal. I don't dislike you because you don't like this movie and or don't want to watch it or whatever the case may be. That's not. But just like things in life, don't don't be mad at people for being accepting of things like this movie, right? Kind of a euphemism for what we're talking about. It's weird how the world comes back together. So anyways, weird, right?
Nicely done. Nicely done.
Almost like I talk for a living, Richard. It's weird. Anyways, so that's besides the point. So let's get into the movie. So I've been dying. So all right. I've been a little nervous to do the show because I've seen this movie a couple of times. So I grew up with stuff, and I'll be honest, it's been a while since I've seen it, and even I got fucking a little like flushed in the face a couple of times, going, oh, I forgot about that. Like I remembered it, but I don't remember things going on as long as they do. I remember certain things being very graphic, so like I didn't forget about that. But I do remember really truthfully enjoying this movie. And I'll tell you, after watching it again with a really perspective ideal on the movie, like I had to like take notes and be the one to really like lead the charges when someone suggested it. I really, really, really fucking love this movie. And I'm gonna give it a very good score later on. I'm not gonna spoil it. You guys are gonna think and just give me any even hints or anything. But one thing, here's where I'm going to start this movie off with. I'm going to start it off with a little bit of a clip that I did find from Roger Ebert, which even blew my mind. Let's see. Stranger by the Lake is the sexiest and most elegant thriller in years. And it's a damn shame it stands so little chance of traveling beyond the niche of a gay film. It will probably be squeezed into this French movie, written and directed by Elaine Girardi. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. I'm sorry, I don't know French. Is set in a single location and has a dreamy quality to it. a mixture of allure and menace that's quite intoxicating. We never leave a sunny gay cruising area the characters are frequenting, a lake, a beach, a nearby boudoir of bushes, but our imagination is kept alert at all times. Every image and every cut is underlined with tension. 4 stars from Roger Ebert. And he goes on and writes an entire review about it. And I really loved finding that opening excerpt. And I'll be honest, I kind of wish I read it a couple more times so I could have read it like as well as he really written it out. But I feel like I did a good enough justice for being
You did fine, dude.
a
That was
little
good.
intoxicated. But I wanted everybody to understand that I'm a little intoxicated, little buzzed already. I wanted everybody to understand that this movie is beautiful. Like it's a fucking unbelievable movie to look at if you look at it from an artistic cinematography point of view. And I don't mean like we'll get into it. A lot of naked dudes. I mean, hands down the most amount of male frontal.
I've never
nudity
seen
I've
so
ever
many
seen.
dicks.
Which is again fine. I think it's hilarious. Now I'm somebody that loves forgetting Sarah Marshall, full frontal nudity. I laugh
Hell
every
yeah.
time and fucking the dude just standing there fucking trying to get his girlfriend to not leave him and his dick's still hanging out. Like I love that.
It's all about, oh my god, what's that movie with Andy Samberg?
Dewey Cox. Dewey Cox is another good one. Andy Samberg. Are you talking?
Hot Shot or something? He's like the pop star.
No.
And like,
Pop Star is amazing.
Yeah, pop star, and like the guy's dick fucking scrapes up against the window.
It's the funniest thing ever. It's so full frontal nudity.
Go ahead, I'll throw out there real quick. Go with you guys on that. There's a lot of like because typical cinema always throws a lot of female nudity. Why not throw? And they always say it. Right. Even why not throw a male nudity? And this one really just
it goes for it because it's foreign. They don't have the same rules we have, and like this proves a point of. So like we know gay people are a thing. We know that cruising beaches are a thing. We know that like holiday and dudes do this are a thing. Like, so why isn't this movie like a thing? Like, it's such a good concept for a movie. The idea of like kind of a madman that you don't know is a madman, and you don't really ever find out whether it might be me.
Oh, it's fireworks. Someone what that was.
Oh,
that's what I'm hearing. Because I'm hearing shit outside too. That's what it is.
Yeah, you hear it? No, it's fireworks.
No, that's me too.
South Philly could be gunshots. Let's just be real. But I mean,
oh, true.
That's why I had to. It could be both.
You're like, oh, shit, I gotta run upstairs. Guys, I'll be right back. That's all good. Yeah. So again, I wanted to get that kind of stuff out of the way. So now we can truthfully get into the movie. So I'm enough of hijacking this one with my.
I think that's a good intro to it.
So I appreciate that. So thank you. So I tried to do my best to try to set this one up because again, I'm going to take full blame for this movie, guys. I'm the one who suggested it. I'm the one who told these guys we should watch it.
Nah, no blame, dude. We gotta.
How dare you?
We gotta have that open.
If you're not a person who enjoys this movie or can handle this kind of thing, see you later. That's fine. That's cool. We'll see you next time. We will. I mean, I don't have an announcement.
See you next time.
See you next time. That's it. That's as nice of a thing as I can say. I'll never bash anybody because I get both sides. I really do, but not on this one. I like this movie. So all right, I've seen this movie 2 or 3 times now and truly enjoy it. I already said that. All right, so let's just get right into it. So me and Joe, especially, are big harpers on cinematography. We talk about cinematography, but score and sound design are a thing that we both talk about a lot. And the 3 things, especially together, right? Which are 3 staples of a good movie. This movie has fucking 0 sound and no score at all. Like there's none.
Not at all.
Yeah, there's nothing. It's
none. I fucking love that. I love, and I can't believe I'm saying this. I love. So
it's an interesting choice, which I like. Paid off.
What's nice is there's an Unearthed song, and I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but because it's been a while and a couple of these deep. And Trevor Phipps, lead singer, does this like spoken word part, and he says silence is deafening. And
true.
I think about that all the time because it is. It's a true thing. If you ever woken up in the middle of the night at 3 o'clock in the morning, can't go back to sleep, and it's just silent, and that's what's the hardest part about falling back to sleep because things are too silent, or maybe like you can't clear your mind because things are too quiet around you. Like you think a moment of clarity would be a good thing, but sometimes silence is the most deafening thing that you can hear or be around because it lets you think about your own
Oh,
thoughts.
it's
Or
Equinox. It's the song
Thank you,
Equinox.
Equinox.
Yeah, the
Great
damage is
song.
done. Now the
It's from
darkness settles in. The
Listen,
silence is deafening.
that's from
Thank you.
their something light album.
Darkness in the Light.
Darkness in the light.
Great freaking
With
album.
Ken Suzy fucking grabbing for the beer or
yeah,
whatever.
the hand, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'll throw out there. That's one of the great things. I obviously the cinematography is phenomenal in this.
I agree. I really
can
truly
never
agree.
get sick and tired of how many shots they've done of that lake, of the trees, the wind going through the trees. It really sets that moment of perfect solitude, but also this certain moment of, and I'll bring it back up when we get to through the movie. This moment of isolation.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Big time.
There's a certain moment. There's like this interesting
Yes.
like, and when I watched the trailer, it said Hitchcock. One of the things they said was Hitchcock was one of the biggest influence. Big time.
Holy shit! You're right. And I'll be honest. I never even thought of that. I never even thought about like a Hitchcock.
Big time.
But you're
I
right.
couldn't even think when I read the
dead on.
description. I couldn't think of what it was, so I watched the trailer. Like, holy shit, yeah, it is. Because I don't remember. I know Hitchcock more, Psycho, The Birds, but I don't remember a lot of the older stuff. I remember those too.
Here's a question. So when did you watch the trailer? Did you watch the trailer before you watched the movie? Like after I suggested it? When did you watch that? Just so I know in my brain.
I actually watched the trailer today or last night.
Really? I've never even seen the trailer, so I'm impressed.
So I read about it when you talked about it. I read about it, but then I didn't watch the trailer too because I don't like watching a lot of trailers anymore. Like, trailers give too much. Well, some trailers I don't. Some I don't. Some I don't mind because I get pumped up.
I swear to God, I walked into this movie 100% just flipping through. I read a bunch of. I like the artwork.
Yep.
I read a bunch of. I read the synopsis. I did look it up, and I read a bunch of fucking reviews about it winning awards at like.
Got a lot of great reviews.
Dude, fucking like, artistically, this movie is super sound. It's just you gotta get through some stuff,
It can really suck you into the artistic view of it. Like you can like they don't give you a lot in the characters. They really just show based on once
the environment.
Frank is how.
Frank. He's just Frank.
Once he arrives on the beach, and then not the beach. Well, like it is kind of a beach. It was more of a lake.
Yeah.
It's more of a lake. Yeah. The lake shore.
It's a lake.
And you see a lot of the men chilling out, and you see like him just doing this thing. And it's just they really set the tone of that like solitude and isolation, a combination. And it's very minimal. It's very well done. I think we don't really get to know much of him until he starts talking to Henry. Right?
Henri,
which Henry.
Love those two together. That's what I want to say right now, so we get more into it.
Dude, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into their relationship as the movie progresses. But I agree, the chemistry that those two have, and some of the dialogue that happens between the two, are the dialogue is fitting in almost everyday life. It's fucking fantastic, dude. It's so good. And to circle back a little bit. The long shots that this movie sets up, like it just lets you sit. They're just still long shots, and it lets somebody walk off into the sunset, or it'll let you pan off and just like I will just sit and watch water for hours. I don't go in it. I'm not much of a swimmer or anything, but I live next to the water for a reason. I will just sit and watch the water for fucking hours, and I love watching the sun pattern change over the water, and then the moon over the water.
Yeah,
like I really do. I do enjoy that. So. The fact that this movie gives you such perfectly set up like off center shots where there's one shot I'm gonna bring up later on where there's like the sun setting and there's a perfect shot of like the water and the water's just rippling and you see the sun like gleaming off of the water and you see a dude's butt and like the dude gets up and like walks into the water but like the dude's butt isn't the fucking focal point of the shot. The focal point of the shot is this like the sunset like on the water.
Well, I mean, the water, the shot, the nudity is that expression of freedom.
It's all one thing.
Of like.
You just nailed it, dude. Holy shit, are we gonna get deep this show?
We are gonna get deep. This is a very deep. It's a very deep movie. The escapism. I hate using ism, but the escapism that is like in this movie.
Great word.
Right. I didn't want to throw this out to later, but what do we know what year this is? This seems like it's in the 80s.
No,
there's no cell phones.
No, he's saying when it took place.
The setting of the movie.
No, that's why I love this movie so much. It doesn't talk about time.
Like it follows. There's no.
Yeah,
time
it never tells you. You never.
This movie never ever one time.
Mm-mm.
It tells you how many days it's been between things happen. It never tells you what time of the day it is. It never tells you how long it's been since like day 1 to day 3.
The only timeline you get is from Henry's vacation.
Correct. When he says, I only have 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Some people must have more.
And I was thinking about that. We talked about this. We said that. I was like, oh,
Correct.
shit, this guy's reading my mind.
Correct. That's the only thing that you get. So yeah, there's no time frame. We don't know. It could be the 90s. It could be the early 2000s. You have to understand too, like France is different than we are. Like their cars might be different. Like so, like we don't know.
Yeah, I didn't want to do any research on this one. I wanted to just let it flow when we talk about it.
You know, there's no timeline. There's no, and that's one of the things that I love so much about this movie is there is no set time. Like it's just a period or a moment of time that you're watching, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. I'm telling you, we're gonna get deep this show.
We might cry.
No, that won't happen. Although
I already am.
Something about there's a scene that does make me a little sad, and it's another one of those no, you killed blah 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 moments.
I know you're talking about.
Yeah,
it was so perfect. It was so. Oh my god,
it was.
I got what I wanted.
What was the fat kid from the last movie? And when he died, and I was like, no, his mom needs him. Like
Summer '84, we're talking about. That's last week.
Yeah.
It feels like long ago, but
dude,
that's
all I'll say is that one line.
Kill scene too, actually.
That one line. Yeah. I got what I wanted.
Dude.
Oh my god. Holy shit.
How rough is that?
That was that.
How rough is that scene?
Because like everything about that's like. I know we're skipping so far ahead, which by the way, who cares?
Yeah, we always.
But like, I'm not spoiling it.
You have to understand. But what I want to talk about this one? I'm really not going to go linear, like timeline with this one. I have my notes the way they are, but like, I just wanted to talk about a fucking movie for once. Like, I just wanted to kind of like get into the points that we love. I wanted to be able to just tell people before we get into spoilers, the plot, or the fucking synopsis of the movie. Listen to how we're talking about this movie, and like, this isn't us making up something. None of us talk about our opinions about the movie before we do this, by the way. Like, this is 100% captured real time. We don't edit. We just give you what we think about whatever we're listening to or watching or whatever the case may be. So, guys, like anybody that's listening, what you're hearing us talk about with this movie, that's how amazing this movie is. So, like, there are dudes' dicks in this movie. I'm gonna just I'm gonna start it right there.
There's a lot of dicks in this movie.
A lot of them. A lot of very uncut.
Hell yeah!
I'm trying to tell you, right? A lot of anteaters.
Old dude balls.
One of the things I
but who cares? Who fucking cares?
We said artistic, and we said bold. Yeah. It's very a bold movie, and fuck it. You know, maybe we need to get American films need to be this more bold. You know?
Oh, I wish they would be, but the closest we can get is fucking like shitty, long over exasperated fucking rape scenes that are unnecessary movies. Oh, I don't know, like the remake of Last House on the Left. Or
both of them have the remake and original have long unrated versions. I'm like, Jesus,
it's horrible. Or you know, the fucking remake.
I love revenge films, but
or the fucking second Hills of Eyes, or fucking like now.
The second one with the soldier chick, that was a little.
To be fair, I actually like the first remake.
That's why I can't watch. It's brutal.
I think the first remake's good.
It's good, but that rape scene in that movie just.
But then the dad gets the revenge on all the fucking mutants and shit. So good.
Yeah, and I get it. That's
piece of shit out of all of them. That one's like.
That's great.
I mean, that's good old school revenge.
That was like, dude, if you want to see a good American like remake movie, I always tell people that one because it's action like the whole fucking way. And I like the brain guy.
The first one.
Yeah. No, the remake.
One of the best remakes of all
time. The remake's amazing, and the craze is amazing.
It is.
The remakes, both of them.
Listen, if you're gonna watch a revenge on anything like that, go watch fucking what's the movie with the
I Spit on Your Grave's pretty brutal, both of them.
Oh my fucking god, dude! I Spit on Your Grave. It's weird that they made multiple of those movies, but whatever. But the first one, that shit, because there was nothing like that in like '84, I think that came out.
It was early '80s, late '70s, but it's right along that line of like late '70s to
and
early
that was
80s
the first time you had a hard R scene because you know these Twitch and YouTube don't like the words, so I'll try to censor myself on there. They have those hard R scenes, and then like not only that,
we're after 10 minutes too, so we're good.
Oh, true. But like then, that's a good point. But yeah, so you have the hard rape scenes, and then it's not just about that. It's about the lady being so powerful and so like into herself that she gets fucking revenge on these clowns, and Oh my god, dude,
I agree. That's where
that
they're good
holy
movies.
shit, dude, like that was unheard of in the time period that they made that. But anyway, that's beating off the track, but
No, but
Hills
it
of
plays
Ice is
off like
good.
what we're trying to say about
Yeah, we're just talking about
exploitation
movies.
and
Last House on the
it
Left,
plays off
the
each other.
remake is bad.
I actually like the remake. I just can't stand it. I just can't do.
You
Come on, the killer gets his head microwaved. I mean,
yeah, that's stupid because that would never that can't happen. That was so fucking dumb. The fucking microwave. Don't even get me started because that'll be another
Ed the only
talking about
reason I
cell
rewatch
phones.
that movie is to do this. We gotta do a remake for its original on that, just for the hell of it. We gotta do it.
I've never seen it. Well, we're talking about Hills Have Eyes? I've never seen it.
No, Last House on the Left.
Movies.
I've only seen pieces of it. I've never seen the whole thing.
Hated the remake.
The reason
the original is really
We'll
good.
go back to it. We'll see if we can
the
in the
fucking
mood for it.
the loud, crazy noises in the background like get to me after a while. So I've never.
Yeah.
I will watch it, but and I get why they do it. It's supposed to be unsettling.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
Suspiria and movies like that. I've never been able to get through the whole thing, but. All right.
Yeah.
So let's rally back. Let's talk about the movie. We've been going a little over about a half hour now, and we set people up enough. You know, we're gonna dive into it. So the thing about this movie is, though, I feel like we really are going to be able to break down more of. I think this is going to be the first time we're going to be able to talk about a movie artistically more than we do like scene by scene because that's what it is, and it really does set you up perfectly for that. It doesn't. There's not a lot of like shock factor in this movie, other than like, oh, you see a dude's dick. Like, okay, that's shocking for people who are like. And I'll be honest, the first time I saw it, not knowing anything about it, I was sitting here with Kristen, and I don't have a problem with that. She doesn't have a problem with that. But when you see that on screen, not expecting it, you go, oh no! Like within the first like 5 minutes, there's just naked dudes, and like there's no holding back.
Oh, not the first 5 minutes. Literally the first 1 minute. You see the dude's dick and balls.
There's no fucking. Here's how this movie starts off. No credits, other than like a fucking production company scene, a screen still. That's it. No opening credits. It opens up with a long still shot of a camera from like a bird's eye view of a dirt parking lot around a tree with a bunch of cars parked and Frank's car, a Regault 25 or something, whatever he called it. When he pulled it up or whatever, which is a diesel.
Oh, I guess sneeze.
You're good. You're welcome.
Excuse me.
You're good. So he pulls up and he walks down to the lake and immediately there's just bless you. They're just
thank you. Sorry.
You're good. There are just dicks out, right? And you're like, okay, but I mean, hey, look, you know the movie's about like a gay guy's cruising scene. It is what it is. So by this point, you whatever. Now, here's a question for you guys. I've seen this a couple times on first watch, and I didn't spoil any of that to you guys. I did say this is a heavy movie. It's a lot to watch. Did any of that take you out of the movie once you got into the movie? Maybe the first couple times you're like, holy shit, like there's a lot of dudes' dicks in this movie. But like, did it take you out of it at all once you got into it, or did you just kind of look right past it? And you can be honest.
Yes.
No. Be honest, because you might have different opinions.
All right. So
you go first.
Different opinions. This is what I want out of this movie. I'm glad
only one time. There was and I'll say it because you know.
I want to get into the scene. No, don't get away with the scene. I'm talking about initial thoughts, like initial.
Oh, like. I don't remember. No, all I'll say is there is one scene that was it where there's one scene I was like, all right, no, it's not like it took me out, but like I feel like they showed a little too much for the sake of showing too much. And I was like, all right, you didn't need to do that. That's what I'll say. Besides that,
but did it redeem itself?
Yeah, of course it did.
And can you look past it?
Yeah, of course I can. Yeah, it's just there was one scene that's all I'm saying. It's like, you didn't have to show dudes ejaculating. You didn't have to show it.
Yeah, you do see it, and I don't know how real it is, but it looked pretty fucking.
No,
real.
was definitely real.
Yeah,
and I was like, yeah, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to.
I agree. Now, was that thrown in there for shock value? Would you rather see that, or would you rather see? Would you rather see that? Would you rather see a dude's Achilles get slit in fucking? What's that movie? The Eli Roth movie. I would rather watch a dude. Oof. I would. I don't care how fake the dude's fucking Achilles getting cut is. That makes me.
I would say this.
I'd rather watch a dude jerking off. Big fucking deal. We all jerk off on things. Like,
It doesn't.
it just is what it is.
I guess it depends on context. Like if I'm watching shit with people, like I think I don't want to watch a dude come on screen. That's
well, if they didn't know
I think that's a little
I
weird.
agree with you.
That's a little weird.
I agree with you. But how many people? So a movie like this,
I'm like, yeah, that's a little odd.
You're not gonna set your friends. You're not gonna set a group of your friends around a fucking TV and go. I mean, I did, but that's because I
excuse you. That's what I'm doing tomorrow night.
But I mean, well, you might. I mean, now you can utilize this movie to fucking weed out your friends and bust their balls or whatever. But like, if you're just watching this on your own for the sake of like reviewing the movie,
then yeah, it's fine.
You go, all right, whatever. But I do see what you're saying. You're not gonna like. I'm not gonna go tell my mom to go watch this movie because that's gonna make her uncomfortable. Because this kind of thing makes her uncomfortable. And like, I get that. So if she watches this movie on her own, hey, spoiler alert, mom, don't be surprised if you see some weird shit. But
so I will say real quick.
Jump in.
I'm thinking of all this when a lot of the nudity kicked in, and I'm like, whoa, they're going right, like joke, pun intended, balls on the wall because we're guys, we think that way.
Balls deep.
Balls deep.
Oh,
so
there you go, balls
deep. I'm like, geez, I'm gonna be 40 and I'm gonna come up with these 12-year-old jokes.
No, but it makes you feel like that, right?
It does. But then when you think about all the movies they watched, and I said it before, I was like, well, if and I think about even a lot of the ladies of like comments to say you could show all these even like I'm gonna say straight up, this lesbian sex scenes, why can't we show this stuff?
I agree.
And that's where like it took me a few minutes to get used to it, but then it didn't bother me after that because I got used to it because I have seen movies that showed men frontal men or ass or whatever. Game of Thrones shows a lot of stuff, or like or they showed both.
You see a lot of dicks in Game of Thrones.
They go crazy, and I think that's good.
Any Patrick Swayze movie ever shows his ass because they knew that women went to go see that.
If they don't show frontal, back in the day, they'll show Swayze's ass.
They show
Jean-Claude Van Damme. My mom's like, "Oh, I love seeing his ass."
Did you see Christopher Walken's ass in fucking Platoon?
Oh my god!
There's a little Western movie called Young Guns that a lot of ladies have called Young Buns because they show Emilio Estevez.
I forgot about that.
Movies. So, and I love both those movies. So my point is like, why is that okay? But like.
Right.
And why are like
there's nothing wrong with what they did with this movie. There's nothing wrong with what they did. It was
is it unexpected? A little bit.
Right.
But can you get over it? 100%.
So I'm gonna go with Ben about that scene when that scene was I was like, whoa, okay.
It was just that
came
one.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Did it bother me? No. Was I shocked? Like, yes, but I'm a big fan of shock value. It just brought me back to being in my 20s. Like, I want to see shock. I want to see crazy shit. And when you go to the artistic value of this movie and how important sexuality is with this movie, it was fuck it. Let's do let's show this.
Correct.
So whether it's real or not, I give them credit for again, bold. I say bold. I say I'm like as an artistic person, fucking do it.
Me and you are on the exact same point on that.
Yep.
And that's what's crazy.
I mean, I want to see it then, but it doesn't matter. It's the matter that they did it and it should be done, So
right. So the point is like you might not want to see it, but you also don't want to see a rape scene in the movie. You also don't want to see a lot of things.
Exactly.
But that's not the fucking point of the movie. Like the point of the movie is to make you unsettled. The point of the movie, like,
it's unsettled, but there's sensuality that we should be accepting at the same time.
Right, and I think that's where this movie is kind of trying to make a point. You know what I mean? Like that's its stamp.
Because there's a creepiness, but there's a sensuality to it too on both sides.
Yeah, like dude, so we're gonna get into that. There are creeps in this movie, and they're all like
it's weird.
There
are
so
some uncomfortable
things in this movie, but that's real, dude. Like that's real in the gay community. Like I've been to gay pride parades, and like that's fucking real. Like that, you see shit like that all the time, and I've been hit on, and I go, oh yeah, like it doesn't bother me because I'm gonna be able to handle myself. But like, like I've had people fucking like, approach me, and I'm like, no, all good. And that literally happens in this movie. Like, but like a gay man goes, nope.
Well, I gotta say too, that's the fascinating thing about this. Like, they talk about the importance of community in this movie, but then a community is always important no matter what. But then there's people that judge too, and there's characters that judge each other. There's jealousy. There's judgment. There's I don't know. I'm not fucking around, dude. I'm gonna say straight up. I don't care. There's a lot.
No, I'm glad you pointed that out. Well, like
I was like, holy shit.
the creepy jerk off dude is sitting there with his husband. Turns out it's his
Yep.
husband, and he gets all defensive and he's like, "No, no, you
Oh, I
homo."
didn't catch that. That was
Below
his
that,
husband.
yeah, it
Wow,
was his
Batman
husband.
dude, the Batman shirt.
Yeah, and he goes, "No, no, like your kind of homo belongs." And he said that in the movie. He goes, "You
He
guys
said
belong."
local queer. He said local queer.
That's
That's
what he
exactly
said.
what he said. And I was like,
Thank you.
wow,
Uh,
holy
yeah,
shit.
and he goes, "You guys belong on the other side of the trees," and it's like the
And
fucking
that's
trees. What are you talking about? It's a bush.
Yeah, and Frank had no
It's a,
fucking
it's a
clue.
loosely,
I don't
yeah,
want to
it's
get
a
too
fucking
clear.
loosely leafed bush.
Yeah, it's like it's that
What are you
tree,
talking about?
idiot. Can we
It's
talk about how the
fascinating
jerk off
because-
guy looks just like Randy Quaid?
He just looked like
Holy shit.
Your shitter's claw, or your shitter's full, whatever the fuck he says. That's all I pictured whenever he was jerking off. He just has the goofy hat on.
So wait. So what will Randy Quaid be abducted by aliens on Independence Day?
Oh, true. He's about.
Well,
That's the
probed.
twist of the movie.
He got
Actually,
probed.
everybody. We just spoiled
Turns
the whole
out that
movie. He gets
It
abducted.
turns out that he just got really drunk and fucking
Yeah.
got probed on the
Yep.
beach.
He was
Yep.
in France.
Yeah. They
Yeah, he
dropped
was
him
just
off in France.
the whole time.
They
Yeah, he
actually
was just-
talked to Randy Quaid, and they're like, "Yeah,
Jesus.
take him back."
He was
And
just
they-
in France the whole time.
Take him
Yeah,
back.
he's too
Take him
fucking,
back.
he's too fucking weird for us. You guys
He's
take him
too
back.
weird.
That was
Randy
the first thing
Quaid's-
I thought. I'm like,
Randy Quaid's a weird motherfucker.
yeah.
I mean,
I was like, is that fucking Randy Quaid?
Have
And
you
I
seen
looked
his-
it up.
I seen his Twitter rants. He's a weird motherfucker.
He's a
He's
weird
out
dude.
Yeah,
Alright,
so
let's
I
let's
noticed
round
a
into
lot
that.
about that. So go ahead.
No, you're good. So everything that we've all pointed out so far is super poignant in this movie. And what's
Mhm.
amazing about this is, I did take like like notes that I take like in-depth notes about the movie and synopsis notes and stuff. But a lot of them are revolves around scenes that matter or like this. So the fact that you guys, excuse me, are bringing up stuff well before I even get to them is amazing to me because the the point of the movie is to just enjoy a movie, right? And
Mhm.
even more so why I wanted to watch this movie because I was interested to see what you guys were going to think about this movie. I didn't know. I have no idea what you guys are going to think about this. You guys could have been like, "Hey, this is the last one we're doing, Ed, because if you think this is fucking art, we're good." Like, and I know you guys weren't those guys, but there are people like that out there, and that's fine. And
Right.
I don't have a problem with that at all.
Right.
Go listen to my other show for that. We talk about this movie.
I
once
heard
on
that
that
episode.
show, and it's fucking and it's hilarious because it is funny because realistically, two of the dudes in the room thought it was funny and didn't think anything of it at all, and then one guy didn't even know what he was watching, and like it's fucking hilarious because you're like, oh, whatever, and that's the story for another day. But so all right, so let's
Hey, there's nothing wrong with
break that
challenge
over.
each other, okay? You gotta challenge people.
No, that's what I love it. If you haven't, well, you know it better than anybody.
Mhm.
I am that guy. I'm gonna poke your chest real fucking hard and go, let's go. I'm down. All right, so. So then, all right. So we've already talked about the opening, and then we kind of went back and forth, and then I put yeah. Well, the one couple of notes I wanted to put about the opening is I love the fact that there's no opening credits. We already put that. Some still shots of the car. It's very unassuming. You don't really know what you're walking into. You just see a car pull up. But I put right away. This one gets controversial with dongs, and I put I have zero issues with full frontal nudity, which we've already talked about a ton. So I don't even need to write those notes, but I think it's funny that I wrote that because I wasn't sure what you guys were going to say. So I was like, let me make sure I put some notes in here. Then I like that Frank goes over to a chubby dude. Turns out it's Henri. That's by himself, and I think they're talking about snakes being in the water because they keep on saying something like slitherous or something. Or
Well, yeah, and they
I
talk
think
about the
it's
entire
snakes.
movie, and I'm like, is this gonna be
Yeah.
a horror movie? Like, is it gonna be snake people?
Well, that's the thing about it. You don't really know. You don't know
Yeah.
what this movie's going to turn into. That's the whole thing. Right?
And that's Hitchcock. You don't know what they
Right.
really play with, like your emotions throughout. Is like they talk about the snake things throughout the film, you know,
Right.
and then they talk about they talk about a lot of different things to give you that like confusing narrative throughout. That's what I want to say
Yeah.
real quick. We'll
they
get there at some
do
point.
a good job of kind of like throwing you off the trail, like
Yeah,
changing the
yeah.
scent of the trail of what you might think is going on. So yeah, so then there's like they talk about like 15-foot slitheruses or whatever the fuck they say, and I think that's kind of funny because like in the gay community you talk about dongs like it's a snake, like oh it's a trouser snake. And then,
I didn't catch that.
like
That's funny.
so the whole time I'm laughing because I'm like now I'm watching this. I've seen it a couple times. So now I'm just kind of like watching. Now the hardest part I had was I really truly enjoy
I too
reading
enjoy.
reading the dialogue with what's going on, especially with Henri and Franck. Like
Henri.
They're my favorite
I
scenes.
truly do.
They're my favorite scenes.
They're the
They're
best
the best
scenes
scenes
in
in
the
the movie. I agree. I
Yep.
truly do, and I think that's the best storyline in the movie.
That's definitely the best dialogue. With
humanality,
yeah.
Or no, human perspective of the fact that like there's a gentleman who's here and he's very unassuming and he's very realistic, Henri, in the sense of he's just a guy. He's just standing. He's just sitting there. And then as the movie progresses, they kind of challenge his psyche and his opinion on why he's sitting there. And it's we're gonna get into that in a minute. And I love the character. I do. I fucking love that guy.
Yeah.
I think he's the best. I think he might be the best part of the movie because he's the outsider looking in. He's us.
Yeah.
He's the one who's I've had a rough time. You don't really know what's going on with me. I don't want to burden you with my problems, but
right.
I'm here for a reason, you know.
He even admits he had like it's almost like a weird not weird. I don't want to use the word, but he seems like the only character on that beach that not closeted, but kind of like he flip flops between like being with men or women. He seems like it's like in between a bisexual the way he talks.
He's definitely talked about it. He says he's like, no, I've been with men before.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that point is great. Which I don't want to. Again, if we're gonna go chronological,
am I jumping too far? I'm sorry.
No, that's the thing with them. That's what's best about it is there is no chronological. I mean, there is because you watch it in a succession movie, but there's no timestamp in this movie, so you don't really know. Like you can just talk about the movie, and that's what's kind of cool about it. Pause that because that is a great discussion. I just want to get through a couple scenes first before we.
Yeah, go for it.
I feel like here's the way I feel like this movie's gonna go because it already has. Is we're gonna talk about a scene or two, and then we're gonna be like, oh, here's a dialogue scene between these two, and we're gonna break that down, and then here's a couple more scenes, and then oh no, here's another great dialogue scene between these two friends, and then and I think that's the fucking revolving wheel we're gonna have tonight, or in general. And I think that's the movie. It's pretty obvious when you watch it, but all right. So Frank finds his fella. What did I go? Oh, yeah, so then Frank Olsen finds his fella. Turns out I call him Tom Selleck guy, even though his name is Michelle in the movie. I'm gonna keep on referring to him.
He's very Tom
I'm gonna keep on referring to him as Tom Selleck guy. So just
I thought he looked like Freddie Mercury when I first saw him.
Nah,
I almost said that. I was like, I want to be a dick.
No, I'm saying when I first saw him.
Just the mustache. Look up Tom Selleck and look up fucking
maybe
Freddie
a little
Mercury.
bit.
I agree. I agree more with Tom Selleck, but like when he first walked up, like because you see him from far away. Yeah,
he's got the chiseled chin.
If you had said Burt Reynolds, I would have agreed.
Burt Reynolds meets Mercury. How's that?
The Mercury thing I can't see. I'm a Mercury.
You know, Ed is a huge Queen fan, so that's why
I am. No, I really am. And I truthfully am, and I know Ben is too, and that's why I think it's funny that me and Ben are like, one. No,
that's what I'm saying. Because like when you first see him, you see him, yeah.
That's why I think this movie's in the '80s.
I feel like he's a little too jacked for fucking Mercury. Mercury was like more of a. He looked more like Frank's body, you know. He was a little more just like a thin dude. Like Frank, like Michelle's in fucking. He's in shape, dude. He's a big guy. He's not small. And anyway, so you see Frank gets to see his fellow, whatever. And I love that the Tom Selleck fella. And I love that he turns down the random dude in the woods. Like he goes after it. He sees Michelle disappear in the woods with another guy, and he goes looking for him to see if he can like cruise with Tom Selleck. And all of a sudden, like here's weird creepy jerk off guy, and weird creepy jerk off guy fucking, which we never find out his name. I think his name is Eric. Actually,
his name is Eric.
It is Eric.
Yes. Later on, yes.
So later on, we find out that his name is Eric.
A little bit.
Creepy jerk off Eric, which we're gonna call him for now. So creepy jerk off Eric, fucking
Randy Quaid.
Frank and tries to like and he goes no. Like notice? Did you guys notice the one line in this movie that doesn't get subtitles when he goes
no.
Because we all know what no means. That's real. Like
there was some funny shit with that guy. He's just like it was like no, I want you. Like no.
Thank you. I love that guy because he was the comic relief.
He was.
He was.
You feel for him though too. Can I go out there real quick about the whole scene in the woods?
I'm gonna keep going. I can hear you guys.
Okay,
go ahead.
So when Ed's talking about the whole scene in the woods, every scene they showed in that, and even as we get further into the movie, I was like, I don't want to use creepy. That sounds really insulting, but there's a certain, and I say earlier, there's a certain isolation, there's certain like, it's like these men go this area for a certain form of freedom, but there's a certain form of judgment too. There's a certain form of like isolation again, and like even just that one guy, he's just like masturbating while he's watching all these other men be able to be hooked up, and he's like, I'm alone, and there's a certain form of like.
Well, yeah, and he if you think
It's
about it too,
it's
he
really sad. It's like
well,
really fascinating and sad.
It's because his husband had to isolate him on the.
And that's what the problem with subtitles. I missed that part.
Yeah, he had to get isolated, which kind of goes into the idea more that, well, now he's intrigued. He's he wants what he realistically can't have, and that's why he likes not Michelle. He didn't like Michelle.
Oh, Frank. He likes Frank a lot.
He liked Frank a lot. Yeah. So like every time he sees Frank, he gets really excited, realizes that he can't have him, and you know, he gets.
We all want what we can't have. This is part of the desire.
Voice from the beyond.
Oh my God, is that God talking?
You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. And nobody could hear me pee that time, right?
No,
there's no God if it's not buttery voice like Ed. Okay, fuck that shit. Well, I would not believe in any form of God. This is buttery. You're welcome. So, and you know, there he is. Oh my God, that's funny. So I gotta say, that's why I don't want to use the word creepy, because the Eric, he's not a really toxic human being.
No, but at first they set him up to be, though, because he's kind of
they did.
Just stands there and jerks off while you're fucking. But like, here's what's funny about that, though, is like that's a real thing. Just so we're clear. So I know I have stories of people who have told me about things like that in parks around where we live in Rhode Island. I'm not going to say where.
I think I know where, and even past Rhode Island too.
It doesn't matter. Correct. So, but I know of stories from people that we know. Ben knows one of the people that I'm talking about. And like very graphic, detailed stories. But like that, you just kind of present yourself, and like there's like certain buzzwords or keywords or things, the motions that you make. That's a real thing. And this movie like hits that on the head, in my opinion. And I the only thing that sucks is I wish right now I knew somebody that I was comfortable enough with to ask these questions real time with, to be like, hey, like, what do you know about this? But I didn't. I do know these people, but I didn't want to put anybody out there because it's not my place to do that. So eventually we'll have friends of mine on, and you know, we'll talk about things like that.
Oh, definitely. We got a list of people we're gonna have on at some point. There's other horror movies. There's other like gay or queer horror movies to talk about that we want to throw on there, like Siren's one of them, and I forgot the other one. Shit, there's a few we talked about before we did this, so we definitely gotta, definitely.
Well, Sleepaway Camp. The end of that. If you have never seen the end of that, that's kind of controversial.
What was it? Sleepaway Camp.
Oh yeah, we will be talking about Sleepaway Camp. Yeah, that's a holy shit. We definitely gotta talk about that.
There's a lot of gay undertones in that movie, like. The fact that like the dudes are over like fucking sexualized and like crop tops and the women aren't, like it's
I only seen it once and I caught what they were trying to do, even though it was the 80s, the way the 80s was, it was like ahead of its time, but also problematic at the same time. And I think it's the importance of that film, and you know, that I think people are gonna love it on all sides to some degree.
It's got its place and it definitely knows where it stands. And I follow Felicia Rose, whatever her name is.
Felissa Rose.
Like, fantastic.
Felissa Rose.
She's awesome. Felissa Rose. All right. So we talked about this. And then I put also out of nowhere he walks up and he finds Tom Selleck eating another dude's scrum, turns into a creepy
dude. He finds Tom Selleck, I'm sorry.
Doing a nice 69 with a guy. That was cool. You're 69 the fuck out of a guy.
No, I told you I'm gonna fucking Eddie eyes like the way I described
Eddie eyes.
You're welcome. I'm gonna Vegas.
That's gonna be a hashtag, Eddie eyes.
Vegas eyes, Eddie eyes.
Oh my God.
Either Eddie eyes or Vegas eyes. Probably Vegas eyes. I'm gonna Vegas eyes what I'm gonna describe.
Vegas eyes.
Vegas eyes. So I put all of a sudden he finds Tom Selleck.
Oh my God, I'm in tears.
Turns to see creepy dudes stroking his dong. I thought that was hilarious. I also like that it turns into a dude looking from. He's like like let me keep on walking away because I'm not gonna it, Michelle Tom Selleck guy is already with another
Mm,
fella, so he keeps on walking and he
mm.
runs into a guy who's looking for chicks. Did you guys catch on to that? He runs
Yeah,
into a
that
dude.
was wild.
I
He
thought
was
that was
like, "Oh,
hilarious.
are there any
I thought that
females
was
around?" He's
hilarious.
like, "Are you in the right place?" I'm like,
He's like,
"Oh,
yeah, I come
what?
here all
Are
the
you in
time.
the
It's
right
like,
place?"
Yeah,
no.
yeah. He's like, I come here all the time, and then Frank
That
is
was
like, I don't think
wild.
He's
you
like,
do.
no, I don't think you come here at all.
No, he goes,
I
he's
want
like,
to be
did you
like,
come to the right
"Dude,
side of the lake? And he goes, yeah, this is the spot.
this is
And
not
he goes,
spring
yeah,
break,
good luck.
We
motherfucker."
literally just saw scrum eating to the max.
Dude, he literally he looks at the fucking dude, yeah, good luck.
He's like,
I
all
know.
right, go for it.
Personally, I don't know, six sense of humor, I guess, but I thought that was great. Um, and
I got a
also,
kick out of it too. That was pretty funny.
now this is where I noted that I appreciate Frank's jorts. So I'm just gonna throw that out there. I also have jorts on. I'm a big frequenter of the jorts. So you're welcome. And that one. Then I put I forgot how fast this movie gets right into the actual gay stuff, and I mean like like dudes on dudes. Let's just call it what it is, right? Like
Yeah,
it doesn't bother me, but this movie, all of what we're talking about right now in the last 10 minutes or so are within the first 5 minutes of the movie.
there is
Like
not
it's
one female in this movie.
no, and there's also no chill in this movie. Like there's no like they
Yep.
don't hold back. Like this movie is just it's just go and that's what's kind of amazing about the whole no score, no soundtrack, no uh movie credits, opening credits. It
Mm-hmm.
just opens and it just is a movie. So you're supposed to kind of just go, oh, I'm just watching like somebody's life in a block of time, and that's it. And that's you're watching one story of one person's life in a block of time, and you happen to be like kind of a fly on the wall to see this block of time happen, essentially not from their eyes but over their shoulder. You know, like you don't know, there's no point of view shots in this movie. There's no point of view of like Frank
No, but
shots.
it's
It's all
interesting.
over
It's
shoulder.
always through Frank's
It's
point
his,
of view.
yeah,
It is.
it's his story. It's Frank's story, but
Yeah.
there's never like a point of view shot. It's always you see him in every shot, pretty much.
Yeah.
Or at least you get the perception of it. They don't ever try to give you like the bullshit, like, oh, let me bob down in front of some grass. Like he gets in grass, you see him sitting in the grass. You know, like so. I respect the fact that the movie did that. So then I put but again, it really doesn't phase me at how now that I've seen this a few times, even with the fact that I've seen the first time, so that's not a big deal. Franck sits down with the chubby friend again, which is Henri. I enjoyed the conversation about Franck being an actual gay man. I thought this was a great conversation. This is when so like the next day, Franck sits down with Henri and they talk, and this is when they're talking about whether they're gay or just swinging, right?
Yep.
And Henri kind of mentions, well, me and my ex-wife, I mean, I've been with men, but I've never exclusively been with men. So, like, I'm surprised that you're a gay man, like truly a gay man. And he kind of questions Frank on the fact that that's what he is because he's kind of masculine. He's not effeminate. And he even says that. He says, I'm surprised because the gay men I know are effeminate, meaning like
Mm-hmm.
you're a little more towards feminine side of the way you act and things. And I find that conversation pretty fascinating because you hear Frank say, "Well, what do you mean?" Essentially like what do you mean by that? And he goes, "Well, you don't act gay. You act like you're just a
Yeah. Yeah.
man. You're a dude. Like you could." In other words, what he's saying is like, "Oh, we could watch football and drink beer, but like you just are into dick. Like you're into another dude's dong. Like that's okay. Like it doesn't bother him at all. But he's just as surprised that like." He's used to seeing gay guys being represented as what you see on TV, which are characters of themselves sometimes,
That's why, yeah,
or
you kind
Mhm.
of have to assume that this had to have taken place during like the 80s or something, because
That's what I
the
said.
way he was
Yeah.
saying
It
it,
could have
just,
been early 90s. It
yeah,
realistically could have been early 90s. I would put it more in early
Well,
90s.
okay. So we're going to talk about that real quick based on how Henry, is that how we say it in French? Like I always say Henry, but
Henri.
Henry
No,
talking
well,
with
on
Franck,
on Henri, yeah,
it's
Henry,
Henri.
Henri.
and talking with
Just say
that
Henry.
whole.
Joe,
I'm gonna say
you're fucking
Henry
from
and
Rhode Island,
Frank.
dude. Just say
my
fucking Henry
accent
and
and my tone dip. No. So we're gonna say fucking Henry and Frank
Frank.
because
And if you have a hard time
you
saying
sound
Michelle,
better than I do, huh?
Michelle, yeah,
And
Franck,
well, I can say Michelle easy.
and Henri, yes,
Henri.
I'm a
So
bit, I'm a bit plussy is what I'm saying. Is
This is
Stop.
painful. This is.
We've all been drinking. Like I don't know how I've been drinking before this. So
Oh yeah,
I've been drinking for a while.
I've been hard drinking Coca-Cola.
I've had a
fucking
few since
kids,
about
man.
8 o'clock. Yeah, I know these fucking clowns. Yeah,
Blackhead.
All I got
Can we get back to
is a clear glass here. You didn't watch
so,
me pour a drink or anything. No.
that conversation was incredible. I love that conversation. I want to jump right to Frank and Batman. That's what I call him because when that scene with this is why I thought maybe 80s or maybe late 80s or late 90s was when
the condom
Frank.
scene? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, the condom scene where he's like, you want to give him oral.
Ew, where the guy
like,
picked up condoms with his fingers. Anybody notice that? So like when they go bang,
I thought it was later.
Oh, I can't remember. But there's a part where.
Well, all right. So there's
I mean, yes, but the point where I'm bringing is like.
So what you're talking about is a little bit later. So real quick. So Frank goes in to try and flirt with Tom Selleck, and then he realizes how fast a swimmer that he is. We're skipping over a part real quick. So he goes. We're talking about
This is before Tom Selleck. Yeah, it's right in the middle. Where
no, it's after that. It's after that.
Oh, is after that? Shit.
Yeah.
It
well,
is,
either
yeah.
way, he gets a hand job from Batman.
Well, all right. I'll fast forward through it quick so we can get to that because that's a great scene. I wanted to talk about that. So I go. So from him sitting down with Henri, he sees Tom Selleck in the water, and that's when he goes, "Oh, I'll be back." Not trying to be rude, but I'll be back. And Henri goes, "I get it. You're good. Like I'm not here for you, so go for it." You know. And he goes in and he swims, and all of a sudden he's just like by himself. And he thought he was going to be able to catch up to Tom Selleck. Now all of a sudden you see how fast of a swimmer Tom Selleck is, right?
Which I got a Fight Club 5 from one scene. I'm going to say so.
I agree with you in a minute. So all of a sudden out of nowhere, Frank goes back down. He's looking around. He swims a little bit more, looks up, and he looks around a little more. And all of a sudden, fucking Michelle's by him the other way, already heading back to shore. And he's like, "What the fuck? Like, how did he already find me that fast? Like, where did he go? You don't see him pass him." Which some people, if you're that good of a swimmer, can be that fast. They can just go.
Yeah, I was like, Jesus. That's where I was like, is this fucking supernatural shit or something? Because that dude, holy fuck, that guy is so fast.
That's how good people are. That's how good people are. I mean, realistically.
Well, that's what I love about this film.
It's true.
That's what I love about this film and a lot of the artistic views is like they just throw you off with shit like that, and it's like he comes out of nowhere. His swimming techniques, you're like, whoa, what the hell?
Yeah.
So it kind of challenges.
You don't expect it.
You don't expect it. So like it's like a lot of the suspense is very subtle in this movie. So that's why I said Fight Club.
Right. So then they get back onto the ocean, and he tries to flirt with Tom Selleck a little bit. Then all of a sudden, the other guy, effeminate, comes out of nowhere and goes, "Excuse me, like, what are you doing? Like, I'm waiting for you." To Tom Selleck.
Yeah.
As as Frank is trying to flirt with Michelle or Tom Selleck, they go off and do their own thing, and I went awkward because that's the thing. And now is when Batman guy comes in, balding dude, Batman guy. Because so you just skipped that one scene, but that's an important scene because that's setting up the water. So I want to make sure we talk. Now we can talk about how fucking uncomfortable it is that they go bang in the woods, which is fine, not weird at all. What's weird and creeps me out is just a sea of used condoms and condom wrappers.
And the guy touches them with his hands.
That bothered me. That bothered me more than anything in this movie.
That was the most disturbing thing to me in this movie.
Yet he's worried about getting a DJ.
It could be straight people in the lake, no matter what, whoever it is. That's like, clean up after yourself.
I don't care. Thank you. I literally put the least that they can do is clean up after themselves. Just take your shit with you, bro. Take your fucking use condom. I don't give a fuck if you're fucking in the woods. I don't care at all. I've done it. Like we've done it. We've all had a moment in the woods. We've all had a moment of depravity, right? Take your shit with you.
Moment of depravity. That's a great line.
You're welcome. John, full of those. You're welcome. You can use any of them you want. Just credit me in your book.
No, it stays here.
Oh, true.
So say you go down, like on a raft on fucking like Saco River in New Hampshire. If you drop a beer can, get your fucking ass out and grab the beer can that's floating in the river, because some bird or turtle or something's gonna have a problem with that later on. Don't be a scumbag. Don't be a fucking like. And that's the only issue I had with this entire movie.
Yep.
Nothing to do with the gay stuff. Nothing to do with the
It
exploited
has something to do with
tongues.
people
Nothing.
and their crap.
They're fucking disgusting ways of littering, and that bothered me more than.
And we seen that shit as kids. We're like, come on, you know?
Motherfucker, we ain't never seen no Captain Planet. Pick up your used condoms, you gross pigs. Throw the shit away.
You know what? There
Put in your
should be
pocket.
an R
Give it
version
away.
of Captain Planet. That's
Captain Condom.
It'd be Dave Chappelle dropping down, fucking Panadol blue, and be like, motherfucker, take shit out of this fucking woods, right? Like, and he would talk some shit. Then you'd see some people all scared, and then they would take them condoms and put it in their pocket and then fucking run off, and that's what would happen. But
He-Man.
listen to me, that shit is crazy. Like,
yep.
I don't give a fuck if you're banging in the middle of the grass in the woods in front of 15 of these, like. None of that. I don't even bat an eye at. I really, maybe I don't know what that says about me, but I really don't. It doesn't bother me at all. But the fact that this dude is worried about catching a BJ from a guy he never met before without a condom on, but he picks
And
up
that
the use condom and
sounds
moves it out of
80s
his
to me.
way.
That sounds a fear of 80s
Yeah.
to me.
And he's just right outside of that cusp. It's still that time frame. That's
That's what it sounds like. A time frame. I mean,
I would say
maybe they like certain people in the community still think that way till today, but I haven't seen a cell phone in this movie, so that's why I think like.
Oh God, it's always going back to fucking cell phones.
Me? Is it me?
Yeah, Joe, you're the problem here.
Fuck.
You're the asshole.
You're the animal here, motherfucker.
Why don't you go pick up condoms in the woods? That's your punishment.
Yeah, pick that shit up.
Yeah, pick that shit up.
Pick that shit up.
Oh, I do what I gotta do.
Yep. What you have to do. I'm proud of you. All right, so then we go from that. I'm glad we got a chance to see that. I put the ground just being covered with used condom was kind of gross. At least take that shit out with you. Then I put the dude is a nerd too. What a fucking clown. The guy's worried about fucking catching a BJ with without a condom on. What a fucking
what
loser.
a nerd.
Anyways, I put fucking
what a dork.
Grow up here.
I put what a fucking loser. Okay, dude, I get it. If you don't want to take one in the rump because you're a little worried about some fucking shit, that makes sense to me. But if you're worried about fucking another dude taking a shot in the mouth from your own shit, what are you saying about your own self? Be careful.
Well,
anyway,
he hooked up with creepy.
And then I put then I put there's a money shot, gentlemen.
Money.
Let's see.
There's an actual money shot
about that, because this is when we see what we kind of described earlier on. So, spoiler alert, red flag alert, whatever you want to say. Here's where we see what seems to be a real life man jam situation.
Yep.
I don't know what else to say. You see a dude jerk off on his stomach.
Yeah, that was pretty.
And
I'm gonna say that was impressive to pull that shit off. That was very.
You see a fucking dude
blow a fat load.
Blow a big old load on his own belly.
Big old fat load. And I was like, yeah.
Right. Joe kind of just hit it on the head. He went, oh, all right.
Yeah, as we said, all right, okay.
That was the scene when I saw it the first time that made me and Kristen both kind of go, you need another drink? I'm like, I don't have a problem with it, and she doesn't have a problem with it. But when we're both sitting in the room together, it's when you're not expecting that. That's when you go.
Can I be straight up? Maybe straight with you.
Please,
I'm like that with any scene, or my wife's working upstairs while I'm watching these movies. So she comes downstairs, I pause it because. And we watched a lot of different stuff. We watched a lot of different crime and Getting Away with Murder. They show a lot of explicit stuff like that, just TV version. I was like, holy shit, that's pretty wild. That's cool, great. Like we want to show that same sex type of stuff on TV. You need to show that, but at the same time, it doesn't matter what it is. Like kill scenes, sex scenes. I'm uncomfortable with my wife no matter what. That's just normal. no matter what.
Dude, if you're a normal
Just
human being, it's a little uncomfortable to even talk about like what porn you watch on fucking like Pornhub. You know what I mean? Like it is. It's just that's a reality, right? So when like watching any of the rape scenes we mentioned earlier, that's
Yep.
I have to get up and walk out of the room.
Every
I can't
time
do it.
she come home from work and I'll watch a really graphic horror movie, I pause it and then we'll talk about all day. And I said, guess what? I'm watching a very graphic movie. You need to go to
You
bed.
gotta
That's
go.
I'm like talking about my parents. I talk to my parents talking to me at a horror movie because that's just, I don't know. Is that the conservative part of me? I don't know, but it's just you know, as a horror and metal fan, if the other person is not the same way I am, I don't want them to be subjected to that if they're not into it.
It's not you being Joe. I don't think that's you being conservative. I think that's you being cautious of somebody else's feelings, and I don't.
Yeah,
think
I
that's
just went to
wrong.
the quote thing. That's what the quote thing. Yeah.
I'm the same way. This is where our understanding about that. Like I'm the same way when it comes to like my other show, my podcast that I do.
Mm-hmm.
I tell people all the time that are like, oh wait, hey, you do a podcast? I'm like, yeah, but like go and do it with kid gloves. Like go and do it with an open mind and fucking we're gonna laugh at, but like we talk about way different stuff than we do on this show. And my opinion is pretty much always my opinion. And none of that changes. You're gonna get the same Eddie Vegas on that show as you do in this show.
But with this one, we keep context to the film. That's what it is.
This is a show. Like this is a fucking movie review show. This isn't a podcast. It's not like we're not letting it out. This isn't a fly in the wall situation. This is a situation where we have live viewers. We have people that chime in with us, and we have a situation where the discussion is securely about the movie at hand, right? Where with my other show, it's a free form show. We just kind of riff, and we're from a generation where you can say certain things, and the people around you that you grew up with will laugh at those things.
So can't wait to talk about Fair Street next week.
Well, I don't know anything about that. We got to talk about that off mic so we can get into that because I'm interested. I don't want to date the show because I'm interested to hear what that is. I don't know anything about it. So I'm very interested to know about that. We'll talk about that when we're done because I am very interested in that. Because maybe that's our first like YouTube thing. Maybe we can talk about that there. With this, so we get to the point where you're right. This is that scene where it starts getting like a little uncomfortable, and this is also the same scene where you're gonna bust your buddies balls who are uncomfortable with something. So you're like, hey, watch this movie. You're gonna love the scene. You know, like you know what I mean? Like it's kind of both, and then it is what it is. So, anyways, right after that, it's heading to dusk, and you can hear some faint. This is where it gets wild. This is where the movie kind of like turns up a notch a little bit, right? So you can hear some faint noises in the distance. You're not sure what it is. Just kind of sounds like people like swimming around, hanging out, doing their thing, messing around in the water. People having fun, whatever. Bronx sees two fellas playfully dunking each other, whitewashing each other in the water. That's something we haven't done to each other when we were youths, right? Or youths, as Michael Zavini would say. And we've all kind of been there, and we've all had that situation where we're like, in a pool, and we fucking with each other, and we splash each other, or whatever the case may be. And then all of a sudden it gets kind of serious, and there's some there's some tension, and all of a sudden it kind of turns from like a playful banter to despair really, really fast. And you can hear that. And you can kind of hear the panic in somebody's voice in the scene. And Frank watches the whole thing and from afar. And you can't really see who the people are in the water because the sun is glistening off, and you can just kind of see two shadowy figures, but you can see them dunking each other. And all of a sudden, one dunks one and fucking holds them there. Well, it doesn't take a mathematician to figure out who that one is because there's one.
That person that went under said stop too.
Correct. And then you hear that. You hear the stop, stop, stop kind of thing, and the panic in their voice, and like it really does. This scene gets your fucking heart racing. Like if you're, I swear, I'm pretty positive that the cum shot scene was designed to be right before this, where it first gets because I think it's supposed to make you be like, I'm just not expecting that at all. Like now all of a sudden, oh shit, oh no, here's somebody getting killed. I think it's supposed to rope a dope you like.
Well, I think it plays into the power we get later on. We dive deeper into Michelle and Frank. I think it plays into the power of control through sex.
Yeah, that's not right. You're not wrong.
Yeah. So everything is a metaphor in this movie. That's why it's artistically well done.
A lot of controlled significant others don't know that they're in despair or want to admit that they're in despair.
Right.
A lot of battered women or significant others won't admit that they are in peril. Will tell you that they fell down the stairs. Right. I mean, that's
shit,
what
man.
happens.
I've been through some abusive relationships. I couldn't like.
Benny's tugging on his collar. Ben needs some help with it. You've been pushed down the stairs recently. What's Braden doing? His roommate is what I'm kidding.
It's true.
Friendly brother joke.
I have a lot of makeup on right here.
You haven't jumped in a while. What's your thoughts so far on where we're at right now with the dunking scene?
So with the glorious money shot, and then like you said, like right, that was a money shot right there too. Actually,
was it doozy?
I agree. That's actually what I thought too. They definitely did that to kind of be like, here it is. You definitely don't see that in movies like ever. And then it was definitely a shock thing, and then make the person go, not like, oh, you can't possibly get worse than this, because like that's something you don't see in movies. That's something you can see in different kind of movies, but not in a movie like this.
Right.
And then it goes into this scene that is it's a lot more uncomfortable. For a lot of reasons, mainly because obviously it's a person's life at stake, and they let that shit drag. It feels like it feels like you're watching that fucking scene for an eternity, and that like and Frank is, or I'll just say Frank, because Frank is weird if we're English people saying it. Frank is just
I'm a fucking asshole. I'm gonna keep saying Frank because I think it's funny. But you guys
think Frank sounds. It's the CK. That's what it is.
It's not Frank. So you have Frank sitting there like watching the whole thing. Frank could have instantly at any time been like, "Hey, somebody's getting killed there, guys!" And like
the entire time,
somebody's getting killed the whole time.
No,
he literally
it was a beautiful fucking shot.
He literally just got a handy from Bruce Wayne.
No. Hold on, but at the same time, he didn't just get that. That's the thing. Like, there's nobody else around. There's nobody else around, though. Like, they kind of set that up. So, who else is going to yell to? He can try, but then he puts his own life in danger. Right? So, like, what do you do?
I mean,
no,
that's what happens. Next is really what's.
Let's just say, I think. Yeah. Well, this is going to be the whole point of the rest of the movie is if that person doing the killing was anybody but Michelle. The movie would have been obviously that's the whole point. The whole story would have been a lot different, but because he had his eyes set on Michelle, and he said it prior to Henri that I don't think he said he was falling in love yet, but he definitely said that I've got a thing for Tom Selleck. I got a fucking
You're thinking of the next scene when they sit down together, because what happens after this is, I feel
right. Like, because he was definitely looking for Michelle, but he didn't have like the hard feelings for him yet. But
this whole movie definitely had a fatal attraction feeling to it, or even
that's a good point.
Single white female or Jade to some degree, but more extreme, I guess. I don't remember seeing those when I was a kid, but there's all that basic instinct. There's that feel, It's just. It's so different, but
that whole like I think that whole section from going out with Batman into the woods, fucking tug money shot.
I knew you were gonna be doing that, Batman.
And then to nice little game of water horse into oh God help me, I'm going to die. That had to have been a span of like 5 to 10 minutes. It's fairly short. But holy shit, man, does that shit hit you so goddamn hard? That hits you like a fucking money shot in the mouth.
Or on the belly button.
See, I can
playing into that.
I wish somebody would. No, whatever.
I'll play real hard into that. But no, so I'm glad that we're all on the same page on that scene, because it goes right into an uncomfortable scene of a person essentially getting murdered, but like a nice, again, a beautiful long
Mm-hmm.
still shot of person getting murdered. So
It
it's
was a
kind of a
very
wild thing.
pretty
And then
murder scene.
yeah, it's one of the prettier ones I've seen in a while, sure.
Cinematography is great in
It
this
was
movie.
very pretty.
It's one of the top things in this movie.
Second best to I don't know, a movie called Midsummer as far as pretty murder scenes, but
Oh shit! I just got really tired.
Somebody here doesn't care for that
I think I'm
movie
gonna go to
because they
bed.
don't know.
I just got-
Oh no, we will be doing that. But
really
no, we will be
tired.
hitting that movie soon. Oh
Just
yeah,
bad, I'm
I
gonna
haven't seen
sleep.
it yet. We will be hitting that.
We should probably figure out when to do it in July because sometime in July would be
It'll
midsummer.
be midsummer.
Oh, look! I said Fair Street is this 3. I think we should do the 3 Fair Street and then Midsummer.
I mean,
So in 4
we
weeks.
also, what we have to remember though is we still have to fit in the Prowler, and we still have to fit in a couple of things. So we're gonna get into that in a little while. We'll figure it out.
We'll
The
figure it
Fear
out.
Street, the Fear Street might be I gotta figure out what that is, and then that might be like a special edition thing.
This
No,
is where
come
this
on,
is
dude,
this is where I get to call him out during the show because he has no choice but to address it. You can tell Ed really doesn't want to do it, and it's so funny because that's what makes me want to do it more.
No, that's not the case at all. Then actually, you're actually quite wrong. I literally don't know what you guys are talking about. So it's not that I
dude.
don't want to do it.
We'll talk
It's
after.
not that I don't want to do it
Oh,
at all.
dude.
It's not that I
Oh
don't want
my
to do it.
god.
It's here's the thing. I also just like how long am I supposed to string along people that are like, hey, you're gonna be our first guest? Like we still also have to do Scream with Nate. We still have to do the Prowler with Steve. Like so, like we have a million ideas.
Our itinerary is
You also
very large.
right. So and then you have to remember that summer gets kind of crazy for everybody, and this summer's gonna be crazy for all of us. We're gonna fit all this in, and this is a story or a discussion for it, not on camera while we're recording and putting it on the podcast.
Yeah, we'll
Or
talk after
not,
this. We'll talk after this.
we're not on a podcast. I'm sorry, show. I'm the one who like really criticized. It's not that I don't want to do it. I don't know what it is. It's not. I'm not.
Oh,
I love
man.
things that I don't know. I love going to things blind, especially when you two know what it is, because it's not often that I'm the one that's the outsider looking in.
I watched Fair Street and Stranger by the Lake side by side, so I'm like geeked out both together.
Well, I think what it is, if it's a series of Netflix, my brain goes automatically to
not series.
It's not a series.
Oh yeah. After this, we'll talk. Yeah.
Let's talk. All right. Let's get back into this movie. Let's get back into the movie. So we'll finish the movie up and then because we can go through. We've already been doing this almost an hour, like which is further than I thought we were going to do.
It's almost been 2 hours.
Yeah. So
I have timers.
No, since the movie started, since the review started, hour and a half, but
no, it's been an hour and 40. I have timers. I have
You say an hour.
You know what?
Hours, I say an hour.
I don't care. People know it's gonna be a late one. I don't give a shit.
No, we made up one. So, all right. So this is when the scene happens where you see somebody get killed. I think it is impressive that you do really get to see how incredibly good of a swimmer Tom Selleck really is in this part. So which they set up early on. So like now you're getting the setup of like, oh, there's a lot to this movie. And then he just kind of like casually gets out, barely huffing and puffing, and like that's a lot of exercise to try to hold down a grown man underwater and be able to overpower them in the fucking water. Like you realize how fucking powerful you need to be, and like dude, that's hard. Like what he did to be able to do that and the way they shot that scene, it's not easy. And to show how fucking scary this guy is he just comes out of the water and goes,
and he's like, all right.
Oh, nobody saw me.
Adjust my dick a little bit.
Let me my fucking my sweatpants, shorts,
sorry.
and let me throw my shoes and socks on and barely fucking towel off with you heathen. You didn't fucking towel yourself off before you put
these
your clothes on.
motherfuckers swim with their shoes on a lot, by the way. So throw
Dude, also, you know how uncomfortable it is if they just sit on their bare ass on rocks? I don't care how fucking smooth the rocks are. They just no towel. They just sit down their bare ass on rocks.
They're more manly than us. I would say that much.
They are. Because what happens to their ass after that? A lot. So
not my lifestyle. I
Not
eat
my
the
thing.
sun.
But
The rocks, I
like,
eat that shit.
I sit on my deck all the time with shorts and my shirt off. Like, but motherfucker, I got a nice cushy chair behind me. I'm not sitting. I ain't sitting on fucking rocks, bro. That's a lot. That's a lot to ask for, you know. All right, so then we get through that, and then I do like this the shot of Frank sitting by himself in the dark or the dusk, I should say, because he doesn't really know what to do because he's got a thing for this person, watch this person murder somebody that would get in his way from being able to be with him. So his brain is kind of going, I don't know what to do.
Mhm.
Also, do I expose myself? Not in the way he has earlier in the movie, but in the way of if I expose me being here, will I get
Well,
murdered
I get
also?
killed.
Like, so yeah, will I get killed? Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So now they do make a point to show when Michel goes to his vehicle to notice that there's only one other vehicle in the parking lot, which is Frank's. He doesn't know that that's Frank's vehicle yet because at that point, none of them know who each other's vehicles are. They just know that, like, they go to the woods, they fuck each other, and they leave. Or suntan, whatever happens, happens. Um, but he's a smart guy, and Michelle that is, or Tom Selleck, and notices a car, and it's a specific car. So that sets up like more later on, like psychological thriller, right? So then you kind of get out of that, and then we're gonna move forward a little bit, and then we go to what did I put about? I put good notes about the front that scene. But things he hears. Oh, that's what's amazing about that is you see Frank sitting there in the woods, but not sure if it's safe for him to go back to his car. It's a beautiful suspense scene. Thinks he hears something in the dark while he's walking to his car. It's great suspense, but there's nothing. It's just dark. When he's walking to his car after the murder happens, it's dark, and you just see like a glow of the moon off of his shoulders, which is fucking amazing. I love the fact that they did that in this movie, and it comes back that scene. But we'll leave that for later on. I love the great
Oh
long
yeah,
shot.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The
I
end
know
of the movie.
exactly.
I'll
Yeah,
just skip forward to it.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into that later. But like
that.
this scene foreshadows what's gonna happen at the end, and it's amazing because that's if you've never been alone in the dark in the woods by yourself, it's horrifying. Hence,
Oh shit, we
like
have been. And Jesus, I'm
yeah,
not gonna lie on that.
but hence even more so why I say the silence is deafening. Right? It brings up that lyric of that song. It's a theme of the show and the movie, right? So
Ooh, excuse me.
I yeah, it's all good. So I'm gonna try to hit the fast forward button because it is already getting
No,
late
I'm
for
not that
all of
type.
us, and
No,
we're gonna try
we'll
to do it.
push through
We're
whatever.
good. So then I put let's see here what did I have for yeah, I love the fact that the great long takes or long shots in this movie like let you soak in the surroundings and just let your brain go than like a quick cutscenes that happen in American movies. If this was a redone American movie, you would have seen a brightly lit moonlight shot, which is impossible in a real life scenario, and you would have fucking heard way more noises and fucking jump scares, boom sounds in the background with fucking swirling fucking score and like,
lens
or just let a
flares
movie happen.
everywhere and
Yeah, exactly. Like they would have Michael Bay this movie. What would happen if they tried to remake this movie? They would have,
I
and
don't.
you both know what I'm
Yeah,
talking about.
I would more appreciate the guy who did Maniac do a U.S. version of this film because then you have the great '80s type of like
I mean, the remake
sound.
of Maniac. I've never seen that.
yeah, the Elijah Wood one.
No. I'm
I
talking about
need
in
to watch
general.
that.
No. I'm talking about in
Oh
general.
yeah.
Like I would love to see like The Stranger by the Lake if they would do a U.S. version.
Oh, I get you. Yeah, an underground person, dude. Like if one of the A24 directors would do this movie, like Roger Ebert
That's what I was thinking
or
too.
Yeah,
those guys, like
That's exactly what
that's
I
if
thought.
those guys did this movie, it'd be perfect because the fucking lighthouse is this movie, just with
yeah.
like
Extra steps.
all black. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a different
but
scenario. Like it's
in a really good setting.
so if you can enjoy the lighthouse or the witch or movies like that, this isn't that far off. Or I can't wait for the Northman to come up, but we're gonna get into that another time when that comes out. I can't wait for that.
Oh, when we get there, we're
Very
doing the
looking
Witch, the Lighthouse, and the Northman all in that time. Oh yeah, we're doing it. But I agree with you.
I love those movies.
Like A Stranger by the Lake has that unsettledness to it.
Yeah.
You know, like so when and then like The Witch and Lighthouse has a Hitchcock feeling, but really Stranger by the Lake really plays off more Hitchcock old school than those other films do. You know, because there's more supernatural elements to those films than this is. This is more of the people aspect. So.
This really goes into the psyche of the human mind, especially in the woods, right? Like alone in the woods.
And this is great about this movie. Is like it doesn't matter who you are and then like your race or sexuality or your creed. Like there's bad people no matter what.
Yeah, and it's that like Joe said, that sexual manipulation that was really taken advantage of in this movie.
Yeah.
That you don't see a lot of in movies in this day and age. I feel like people are too afraid to nowadays, ever since cancel culture, and I hate to even bring that shit up, ever since cancel culture, I feel like it's really hard to talk about, you know, any of that type of stuff in movies. I feel like people are just too afraid.
There's some movies that are doing it the right way to some degree. Depends.
Some people get certain.
It's hard to find now. I think. Then again, I feel like it's too hard to fucking make any movie in this day and age, unless it's a big theater.
Not to date the show, but there's a really. Good...
horror never is big theater. Let's just be straight up about that shit. I don't care what anybody says. When you get to horror, and you get to movies,
kind of
even
like an open rope,
like even Stranger by the Lake or anything like that. Like, yeah, we get the mainstream horror, even though I know Halloween Kills is gonna kill it to some degree, but horror in general would never hit the mainstream the way people want, no matter what.
Except like Conjuring, I guess. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I guess, like obviously, like you're gonna have Halloween. It's Michael Myers. You like.
Yeah, The Conjuring is I mean, I don't know. The Conjuring just.
I don't know. Shit like Spiral did really well.
I didn't see it yet. I do want to see it because
I liked it.
It all depends. It all depends.
But that's a whole different thing. So like what I was saying is like, it's shit like this. It just can't be made anymore. There's no fucking way. It's too hard.
Well,
I disagree with that. I disagree with that.
I think it can. I think it depends on where you're going, but that's a different. Let's get through the movie. Let's get through the movie. We'll circle back to that. So then I put interesting that he still heads back to the beach the next day or whatever this is. Talking about Franck after watching somebody get killed. Another good conversation with with Henri about why he hangs out at the gay beach if he doesn't cruise. If you guys didn't catch on, this is another great example of a good conversation between the two of them the day after or the next time he goes to the beach after he watches somebody get murdered, right? And then Henri has a great point of, well, I come here because if I go to the family beach or if I go to the swinger beach, I'd be looked at like a creep. Why is he there by himself? Because he's not there with anybody else. Here, I'm just another guy, and so what? Maybe I'm not social, but I'm just here, right? And I don't care that you guys do. You do, but at least I can still enjoy my time. And that's kind of what he's saying. And I really do enjoy that conversation. But it also shows how lonely he is, and I also think that it helps build the bond with Franck. It shows how emotionally disconnected he is with a lot of people, and you can kind of tell that he's battling some demons.
He's trying, man. You can definitely tell he's trying.
Yeah, and well, he's trying to live. He's not trying to be like part of a certain community, which is nice. He's just trying to find an outlet because he's depressed, and he does bring up ex-wife. He brings up how at one point they used to party all the time. He brings up how the fact that like he's not afraid to be with men, but only in a swinger situation. He brings up the fact that he's not used to seeing non-effeminate gay men. So like he brings up a lot about like the way he views things, and then why he's surprised about a lot of things. And this is all Henri we're talking about. And with this situation, this is the first time we really see like, oh no, he's sad, like he's by himself, he's a loner.
Yep.
Maybe this is a recent divorce. Maybe the divorce went bad.
Maybe I think he might have dated it. I don't know.
They don't really talk about it. I've seen him a few times, and it's all he's very coy about what's going on. He always figures out a way to circle back to Franck or his relationship with the swimmer or they'll constantly Franck will ask him if he wants to go for a drink afterwards. No, I'm good. I'm not going to burden you. You seem like you have a lot going on. Or
Right.
and that is a dissociative thing to do, or a way to think about things. It's a you're trying to be part of something, but
It's an easy way
I
to
just
detach from the situation that he's seeing.
yeah, I have an opportunity here for a friendship, but
I'll be
I don't want
honest
to
with you.
burden
I
you.
really wanted to see Henry and Frank just hang out because
Yeah,
what I
I
love
would have
about this
liked to see
movie,
that. I agree.
what I love
I
about this
agree.
movie was the shots are just at the lake. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
So
It's one
it's the
place,
lake, the
one location.
woods, and where they park. That's it. You don't see anything about. You don't see it.
Did you see Ben lose his headphones?
Is that what that was?
I
It,
have no
That was
fucking
great.
clue how I just
it
did
literally
that.
just fell off. They just fell off.
I
They
have
flew
no.
right the fuck up
I
there.
have
It was hilarious.
that
So
literally. It was like
I,
a
saw- I saw him. I saw him went to adjust them because I was adjusting mine.
and like they flew off.
Yeah,
that's funny.
it was pretty fucking hilarious. That's amazing.
So like
You're good.
I I really appreciate they just again I use the word isolate. They isolate these characters only at this lake. They'll isolate them in that parking lot. They isolate them in their certain spots. You don't see anything about their other life. That's what I think of. I
Right.
think of their other life. And I just oh fuck, I lost my point. But like the whole point of bringing is like I love like Henry and Frank. They're like my favorite thing in this entire movie. Those two, and the
Yeah.
way
Well,
they progress. The
that
way they
specific scene
progress.
is very. This is really where you start seeing a bond, and
Yeah,
again, this is
exactly.
also where you realize that there's no time lapse. Like they don't tell you how many days have gone by. They just tell you that like, oh, every day it seems like these two seem to go out over to each other, kind of out of nowhere to talk.
Yeah,
And
it seems like at least a week altogether. It seems like a week,
at
maybe
this point,
two.
yeah, it seems like
And
about
with
that.
that too, you barely find out anything about these characters outside of this life at the lake. So it's like you find out what is it? Henri, he's a logger. You find out that
Yep.
Frank is
Later
like
on, yeah, you can
yeah,
find out.
you find out that Frank is like in between jobs, so he doesn't really have any path going for him. So right now he's just kind of coasting.
Right.
So just kind of trying to figure out what he wants. So it's a lot. It's like Joe keeps saying, it's isolated inside of the story of this lake that you're seeing, and I feel like they played that up so well. They really develop each character every time Henri and Frank talk to each other.
Oh, the character
They
development.
they
This movie is
keep going
amazing.
into like this dichotomy of like, oh, it like I keep struggling with. Hey, there we go. House swallow, baby.
Product placement.
Fuck. What was I?
Product placement. That was like 5 episodes ago.
Oh, true.
Product placement. Finely tuned.
And I was just proud of myself for saying a big
placement.
word. Damn it.
Anyways, real product placement is right there, but Axel Sledge, but that's a different story. Continue, Ben.
What was I saying? Oh, you had Henri's dichotomy of like, oh, like I've been with guys together, and like you start getting into the situation that that Henri is going through with. He's like, dude, like I love you, but not in a homosexual way. Like I love you like as a friend way. Which to me is a little weird because he gets that pretty quick, which is a little odd.
He's also very alone though.
He's yeah,
like,
so I feel like he's gonna get attached to anybody.
Well, he said he would cuddle with them, but he wouldn't have sex with them.
Yeah, here's the thing with
Sure.
the Frank and Henri scenario is you don't know. Again, we don't know time lapse. We don't know how long it's been since Henri's been with his ex-wife. We just know that he's got
That it's been a while.
You know
Yes.
that he's correct. That it's been a while. We don't know how long it's been since he's seen his. We don't know if he's even got kids. We don't know if how long it's been since he's been a swinger. Like there was a point where maybe he was skinny and very attractive, and now he's not, and now he's having a routine to really his life.
Right.
That's a real thing. Like
yeah.
Maybe he's going through a midlife crisis, and like this is just how he deals with it.
I thought that too. I thought midlife crisis. I thought a lot of stuff with that character, and it's so well. His character's so well written.
Why it's so beautiful, thank you, Joe, is the fact that you don't need to know everything.
No,
like you don't.
Mm-mm.
Not every story needs every. That's the difference between American movies and foreign movies. We don't need to know every
there's some American movies that do
fucking
that. Nobody pays attention.
detail. Yeah, we don't need to know every fucking detail about every single character in the movie. We don't need to know every backstory about every,
No.
like, or you can just tell a fucking story and like let people figure it out.
That's
like,
why I say fuck books.
Actually, books are the opposite. Books tell you all that.
I
Like,
know. I'm kidding. That's what I'm saying. I hate that shit.
Depends to be burning books is backyard, you fucking Nazi.
Other than Death Highway.
I hate
And,
books.
Yeah.
Except Death Highway.
Death Highway, you
no, I would never touch Death Highway.
I would never burn it.
If you do, it's another dimension. It'll come back.
Books.
It's got the red plane in it, so you never know.
The red plane. Yeah.
Oh, true.
Red.
You know what? Henry should have stayed in the red plane. Fuck that lake.
I mean, from now on, I'm gonna start calling Henri
Randy, dude.
So I can time the two. All right, so let's move on. We gotta start wrapping this movie up. We did a lot of like discussion of the movie, and that's what's beautiful about this movie is we don't really need to go scene by fucking scene in this one. I want to leave a little bit so people can go and go, shit, there are
definitely.
yeah. So let me read through a little bit here. I put Frank goes. We're not that far to it. Frank goes looking for Tom Selleck, and I think creepy jerk-off guy tries to grab his junk, and he does, and it's kind of awkward. So the next day or the next time he tries going looking for fucking Michelle, he gets his down grabbed kind of comfortably by.
That was so weird.
We found out, which is odd, and it kind of turns it down, which just kind of goes to show you that even in this scenario, when it's like an open forum situation, there can still be somewhat sexual assault. You know,
no means no, man. No matter what.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Well, you would think so until later on, Joe, when Eric gets his fucking man. Yeah, good job, creepy fucking Eric. And I'm not talking about Eric Blade, Ben. I'm talking about creepy jerk off Eric in this movie. Anyways,
true.
I put definitely. I put then let's see. Then there's oh shit. There's Tommy Boy. Oh yeah. So he goes through almost gets his junk grabbed. Then all of a sudden out of nowhere there's Tommy Boy. Tommy Boy meaning Michelle. And I put a good setup scene with Frank asking about the dude that got killed. Typical dude didn't stop him from getting his BJ. So this scene, what I'm talking about is he finds Michelle and they kind of go back and forth, and you know Michelle asks him about his boyfriend, and he goes, "I don't have a boyfriend." He's speaking about Henri, and then he goes, "Yeah, but what about your boyfriend?" You know, the other guy, the Renault or whatever his name is. And he goes, "Oh, don't worry about him." Well, where is he? Meaning, like, he wants what happened. He's in like, but at this point, you don't know whether Michelle knows that it's Frank's car or not, and you don't know whether you know what I mean. So like, they're playing each other against each other. But no matter
there's a serious cat and mouse game going on in this scene.
And this is where it really begins. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, just like a typical dude, gay, straight, doesn't matter. Frank very ceases to give a shit about whether he's gonna get a blowjob from a murderer or not, because he just gets a blowjob from a murderer. It doesn't stop him. Because let's be real here, we're all fellas. Fellas, if you're dating an axe murderer, woman or fucking male, doesn't matter. If they go, yeah, you might be on it, but before you speak, let me get on that fucking Tootsie Roll, you know?
You're going back to the 90s Tootsie Roll.
more than likely, you know, you're going to let it happen. And that's what Frank did. He did. He's a man. He let his.
I mean, I agree with you. Even if it's a female, it'd be the same. If it's like.
Wouldn't matter. You know, yeah, it's just.
An alpha female, we do the same thing to some degree.
You got it. Sexual deviations are going to take over the matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just is what it is.
And this whole movie,
your primal animal instincts kick in.
Yep. Well, exactly.
Even cavemen wanted blowjobs.
Let me fucking. I'm not gonna do anything. I would have just made a terrible joke and just stopped myself. So we're gonna leave it there. But you saw me pound my chest, and you guys got that, and we can cut that out as a GIF later on. GIF.
Nah, you pounding.
And I put definitely leads to Tom trying to see if fucking Frank's car was left, and the drowning dude happened because they walked each other out at the end of the night, and then he goes, "Oh, is that your car? Oh, that's a Renault, blah blah blah. 85. Yeah, it is. Yeah, they're just continued. They went back and forth, meaning like, oh, this is fucking Michelle, like catching on. Oh, oh, it's your car that was here that night. Oh, but you're the one who just came looking for me. So like, okay, so like, can I trust you? Can I not trust you? And then Joe, you just said it perfect. This is a great cat and mouse situation. Then it kind of leads into, well, I kind of forgot about the legit 69 all of a sudden out of nowhere. Those two just fucking blowing and like licking each other's buttholes. Yep, the whole
Hell
scene
yeah.
is intense.
Yeah, again, like the other scene.
This
like,
shit,
holy
dude.
shit.
No,
Wow.
I think this is where, like, watching the dude fucking blow a load on his belly button doesn't so shock me in a little bit. This fucking scene just kept fucking going. This was as bad. This was as uncomfortable as watching fucking any rape scene in any of the movies we talk about earlier. Like this fucking this scene.
Well,
Dude,
because you are
going.
peering into people's personal lives. That's what it is,
Right,
really.
right. And again, I don't. It's not about me being uncomfortable with like gay. I don't give a fuck if this was like a dude and a chick banging. That's uncomfortable. Like what people have to understand is like sex scenes are uncomfortable if they're prolonged.
Yep.
Not that they happen. It's that you're putting emphasis on them. Meaning, like, well, what are you getting to with them?
How far do you drag them out, and then
correct. Because there are sex scenes in movies that are like looked at as like glorified. They're glorified in the movie. Like, oh, that's part of the movie. Exploitive, right? And that's essentially what this is kind of doing. It's kind of making you try to take your mind off the fact that like other stuff is going on. Like, oh, we just watched a murder. Oh, now it's there like full blown fucking 69 in the middle of the woods. Like, I don't give a fuck that it's two dudes doing it. It's just that like, but like you just watched.
Let me throw it out there.
You just watched
FX
the dude
with like the Sons of Anarchy or even the Mayans. Their scenes are like, holy
they get
shit.
they get registered, and that's TV.
And that's TV.
So like, right.
So
right, I agree. Long story short, shit can get wild, and that's the off-putting point. But that I want to make. Then I put let's see, I legit forgot how long this goes on. I mean, what it is, but yikes! But then the next day, it's all cleared out, and then when Frank gets there, all of a sudden a helicopter's like flying overhead, and this is when you find out, oh, they found the dead gay guy, right? So now we can really start cooking. Now we can get into like the final act of the movie because I don't want to give all of it up, but let's try to like wrap it up a little bit at a reasonable time for the people that are watching because I don't want to give away too much. I want people to actually watch this movie.
Yeah, they should. Yeah,
they should. So then I put they see that part. They found the dead guy. I'm gonna leave that alone. But what if you haven't noticed? I'm now from here on out. I just kind of take notes of like little nuances or things that I noticed about the movie. I don't take the scripted notes about like the time sequences of the movie after this part because I wanted to stop it there. After this part, if you haven't caught on already, every time Frank and Michelle are sensual with each other, Michelle grabs some part of Frank's neck, like whether it's a stroke, and they make sure to show you that. Like they don't hide the fact that that's what, and it's very well placed, meaning like that's a very masculine,
that's
like
a power move.
Like it is a power move.
That's a super power move.
That's what I was looking for.
Michelle's I'm gonna show you. Very masculine.
Don't forget,
that dude has a lot of like.
And like, what must have been going through fucking Frank's head too, man? Because like the second the hands go on,
you're into it.
Yeah.
Well, no, at that point you're into it, but that's kind of the thing. Like you've never seen like kink stuff. Like that's the thing with a lot of chicks. Like they like to feel power, and like it's a thing. Like your lady behind you, Ben. That pussy definitely likes power. Stroke it real good.
No, there's a big difference. She likes food.
I just got Joe. So
we all like
pig.
food too.
This fat pig likes food too much.
So happy. I'm so happy I just got Joe mid. That was fucking amazing. That was amazing. Cheers, dude. That was awesome. That was fucking great. I was so happy I got that.
You got me. That was good. I need some.
I've been waiting on that. I've been good all show, dude. I've been trying to hold back all show, but I had to give a couple fucking Vegasisms. There you go. All right, so we put that, and I want to make sure that they put that. I said every time they kiss or get sensual, they show that. Now all of a sudden, here's creepy inspector dude, right? Like out of nowhere.
Oh man!
And I like this turn. I like this turn of the inspector. Go ahead, please.
Every movie, like The Transporter or any movie I've watched that involves some form of French inspector, they are like this every time.
And they look like Mr. Burns.
And What's that from?
The Simpsons.
Simpsons.
Oh,
It's
yeah, he
Mr.
does. I had a
Burns.
moment. I haven't watched fucking Simpsons. Wow, I'm sorry. I'm getting like, I don't watch cartoons so much. I'm sorry. Simpsons is brilliant. But yes,
It is,
he
actually.
does look like Mr. Burns, but he also is a stereotype in French movies
With like that, like
of that
Inspector.
inspector. But there's a certain thing about him is like it's like there's a creep factor. Like he has a certain creep factor that is almost at the level of jerk off guy.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa,
I
where
do
the
agree.
fuck did he come from? Holy shit.
Yeah, I
He comes
agree.
out of nowhere
I
every
hate how he
time.
sucks on his fingers
agree
so
with that.
often. He just that's
He does this a lot.
yeah.
I mean, that's a very European thing.
I do this
I'm not
too
going
though.
to give you that completely how I know it, but I have some relationships with some truthfully European people like that, and they are very eclectic and very slow and
Mm.
methodical in the way they say things. Will kind of dance around a topic to, well, get back to a topic, and like that's how they know how to tear you apart, without even really trying, and that's just the way they do us, especially being from the Northeast. We're
Yeah.
fucking like all the time. Like, oh, what are
Yeah.
you talking about, motherfucker? What are you? Come on, let's go talk. Let's go hang out. Let's go do this.
Shit,
Let's do that.
man. It's like that
That
over
it's
here, too. South
yeah,
Philly and
it's
Rhode Island,
the
not that
Northeast.
different.
It's the same. It's the same. It's Northeast. That's why I said Northeast.
Yep.
Joe, if you haven't caught on yet, that's why I don't say all Rhode Island. I say Northeast because.
I get you.
Anyways,
Trust me. I
I'm
got you.
kidding. I'm trying to stick up for you, bro. I'm trying to stick up for me. I'm trying to get my headphones in a comfortable position, but there we go. That's a little bit better. They were this side was starting to fucking. I had them in a comfortable position where I could hear everything, but this side was starting to close me off. There we go. That's better. You guys can hear me still, right? I'm just trying to get it comfortable. I'm
You're
not used
doing
to this
fine,
stuff.
dude. You're doing
No,
fine.
you're
You're doing
fine.
good.
I use these for an hour and a half or 2 hours at the gym every day, and like I've already had my fucking other headphones on for work, and these are tighter than my other ones, so it's just a different feel. So I'm trying to make sure that you guys can hear me. Anyways, so that's besides the point. People are gonna watch this and be like, "What the fuck, man?" But this is real, unedited. It's a fucking show. You're welcome. Enjoy it. Grab a beverage and sit back.
God damn right.
Goddamn right. So, this is where shit kind of starts getting kind of twisted. They both kind of, Inspector Guy kind of gets weird, kind of freaks both of them out, picks each other's brains because clearly he's already picked all the other gay guys' brains on the beach, and they've
Mm-hmm.
all pointed to them. And then I put Henri is, I don't know what the fuck I just put with that.
You just
Wow,
confuse
I wrote
yourself
some
with your
terrible.
own note.
Yeah, I put Henri
Oh.
is the shrubby husband. Michelle is this. Oh, because by this point, I wasn't calling them by their real names. I was calling them chubby guy to himself.
Oh, chubby guy.
So,
Oh, okay.
chubby guy to himself. So we're gonna go past that. And I put also we skipped over the fact that real quick that right after the inspector thing happens, the discussion of how Frank is falling in love with Michelle and he wants to spend the night with him, and Michelle declines, and he says, "Well, I need my discretion. I need my time alone." Like meaning, like at that point, you go, "Well, are you a straight guy outside of this? Do
Mm-hmm.
you have a family? What are you hiding?" Like.
Yes, that was
So
amazing stuff right there. Because
I thought it was really doing part of the movie also. Go ahead.
what? Oh, because when you get to that with like Frank and Michelle's conversation with that was is like it's like you didn't see any jealousy issues, but then all of a sudden there's issues. But then you learn about those issues between when Frank and Henry had their conversation about. He's like, hey, Henry. He's like, yeah, Michelle has a sexy body, but is that all that is there? And then they're talking like not shit, but like they talk about stuff, and then Michelle comes out of nowhere, and then that gets uncomfortable. It gets that crazy, obsessive, jealous mode.
That's next. That's actually
Yeah, because like you kind of feel like it's weird because what I like about this film with Michelle's previous partner, the one he drowned, or we think he drowned, or whatever, he had an obsessive moment with Michelle, and then Frank was having his moments with that obsession, but then they turn it around where it's like, wait a minute, you're obsessed with him, but then again, he's got some jealous issues that we didn't know anything about.
Right.
And then we see that where it comes through Henri's storytelling, and then with like Michelle coming in between the conversation, I was fucking like uncomfortable with that scene. I was like, oh, all right, dude, like leave them
So
the
that
fuck
was
alone. Like,
so here's where this is really the final third of the movie, right? So right what you're talking
mhm.
about, it fits into the last. It's like rapid
Yeah,
fire at this
some
point.
serious
It
build
really
up
is.
right there.
As
Yeah.
soon as the inspector shows up, like the movie just fucking goes. Like that part happens, and then let's see, I put the inspector all of a sudden out of nowhere confronts Frank again on the beach while he's talking to Henri. Some good tension building there. This is right around the same scene that you're talking about, where fucking Michelle shows up out of nowhere, kind of thing, and
Mhm.
kind of questions what they're talking about. Then I also put I don't give a fuck. The scene when Michelle heads into the water with the sun gleaming off his butt is stunning. We were talking about that earlier. How about super fucking tense swim scene where
Oh, dude, that shit was so
Michelle
awkward.
wants to go in the water.
Yeah.
The most awkward scene in the movie. Fuck all the gay like
Yep.
jerk off scenes. Dude, when fucking Michelle goes into the water and like Frank knows how good of a swimmer he is now at this point.
And he's like, "Come on,
He's
man,
really fucking.
come swim
He's
with
like,
me."
ah, yeah, yeah. And then,
Yeah,
it's
dude,
like,
I was
and
like,
then they start
fuck, don't go
doing
in
the
that
dunk
water,
thing.
that motherfucker.
Dude, the whole time, and I've seen this movie before, and my heart still went
Yep.
crazy, fluttering, going, "Fuck, this is not good." Like that. That's so uncomfortable. That's such perfect fucking storytelling.
Because your mind goes right to what
What
Frank's
would you
seen.
do in that situation? Correct. It's
I wouldn't
crazy.
go to goddamn water that bastard.
Fuck you.
No,
Fuck
you.
you.
Yeah,
I
but he
literally
could get
put
a
it just like that.
blowjob out of it.
I'm good. Fuck that. Then I put a great conversation about how friendship feels with Henri and Frank, and then this is a great conversation between the two. This is right when Henri tells Frank about how he feels he can tell that there's a connection because even though he's not sexually attracted to Frank necessarily, this is the first time in a long time that he's felt his heart race when Frank's around. Meaning, like,
Yeah,
I get excited when you're around me
yeah.
because I like to talk to you, and you're the first person that's given me time in a long time. And it made me kind of like
And we can all
emotional
relate to
because,
that. We can all relate to
yeah,
that
man,
type of like
dude, Joe,
it's.
no joke. I was gonna put this out when I hugged you for the first time
Mm-hmm.
a couple weeks ago. First time I
Yeah,
see
when I
this
came
in
in
2 years.
town, yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, it made me. I was nervous to see you, and then when I was walking up, I'm like, "Oh, they're in this bar. Oh, here comes Joe. Oh shit, no, there's Joe." And I pointed at you, and you were like, "Oh, there it is, motherfucker." I was like, "Oh, park right there." And the first time I got to like put my fucking hands on you, you
Yep.
know, in a non-sexual way, maybe it was a little bit. You're a handsome fella.
Whatever, man.
But, yeah, I'm only kidding.
Brotherhood's
But,
brotherhood. I don't
yeah,
care.
you're fucking best friends. But it was, man. I mean, realistically, like people, that's the thing. That kind of goes into the whole pandemic thing that we just felt through. Maybe I wouldn't feel strongly about that scene now because I saw this movie originally before the pandemic thing. But like,
Well, that's where
dude,
that movie plays great with the isolation and freedom.
yeah,
And
you
the
don't
contrast.
realize how
Yeah.
you don't realize how much another human's connection can mean life or death for you, and if you're in a really low place. And this movie tells that very well.
Yep.
And it's fucking beautiful, man. Like this part of the movie,
That's so fucking true though. That shit's
it
unreal.
really is, man.
It's unreal.
It really is. Like me and Ben were estranged for a little while. The first time we get to hang out, when things kind of settle down, like you go, awesome motherfucker right there. That's my that's not. I mean, that's literally my brother, but like that's my boy. Like, dude, I got his back. And then the first time you get to see Joe and me and you got to fucking hang out, it's just, like it's like time never lapsed. Granted, we do this, but it's still different, man. It's
No, it's different.
having that
It's so different.
feeling a human connection and fucking like feeling that it's there's something about it, man. There's something about a fucking like Ben's got his buddy Dave out and where's Ben? What does Dave live?
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. So when he came up out of nowhere a couple years ago to surprise Ben for his birthday, and man, like the first time you see Dave, who I did, I mean, I grew up watching Dave grow up with Ben, but like I didn't grow up with him as like my friend growing up, like I do with you and me and Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still like, oh shit, that connection's still there. Like man, the first time you hug each other, you go, "Fuck, man, how you been?" Like you feel it, like you feel a fucking an electricity that's real about humans, man. If you take that away from them, after a while, they're gonna fucking lash up to get that again, no matter
Yeah.
what it
Yeah.
takes. You can't stop the human condition. There's something in installed in us that, or instilled in us that is designed to need a connection. No matter how much of a loner you are, you need some kind of a
It's
connection.
true.
You
Yep.
can be as much of a recluse as you want to be, but you can't be alone forever. Nobody wants to be alone forever, even if that's what you think you want. And that's what the best story about Henri is. I think showing the fact that like he kind of seems like a loner, but I mean I don't think he wants to be. I just don't think he knows. He
He's
knows
had
that
to
he's
get
over his
reacclimated to life
well,
again after
he's
his
over the
wife and
hill.
shit.
He's not exactly in as good a shape as all the other guys on the
And
beach.
he's
He's
older.
not
He's
gay.
yeah.
He's not full blown gay. Like he's not a he's kind of in between, right? He doesn't really know where he wants to be. Like he was married. We don't know how long, but for long enough to swing and have a life and have a depressive life after that life. And now he doesn't know what he is, right? He doesn't know whether he's gay. He doesn't really know whether he's straight. I think he's just longing for human companionship. And
Yeah.
sometimes that's all it takes is just a person to be nice to you. And Franck really, truly does become that person for him. I think he becomes his saving grace to show him, like, well, you're not alone here, man. Look, I don't know what's going on outside of this 3 week holiday you have.
Yeah.
But
God damn it. I need water. Bring it back.
no, you're good, man.
How dare
I'm
you?
just riffing. So
Piece of shit.
I'm just riffing. So
Why do
Ben,
we
so
hire that
I'm
guy?
impressed. I'm impressed that so far you've been invested in this movie. It's a good
God,
one
you
so
think
far. And
I'm just
we're gonna
you think I'm out here just hating on
wrap this
every
up.
movie? I've
No,
only hated on one.
no, I don't think that at all. I know that you're very retrospective when it comes to things like this, so I'm not worried about that at all. I'm just more being that we're like actual brothers. It's an odd movie to be like, hey man, you should watch this dude get his fucking
I don't
ripped off.
fucking
Like
care,
it's
dude.
just
People can tell me what to watch. Like
right. Some
you watch
people,
a
but
lot more movies
some
than I do, so I always take your opinion on that type of stuff.
I just I'm open to things, man. Like
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
afraid
me.
to see something.
I don't care.
If it's a bad movie, it's a bad movie.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm gonna call
I
shit
would have
out.
called it that.
I'm gonna call shit out for, there's definitely parts in this movie. I didn't think this movie is 10 out of 10. There's shit that
No.
definitely could have been different. There's there's not much I could have changed about it. But
Whew.
there's only like I was saying before, Joe, when Joe's gone, I've only on this show I've only really like went out and lashed out at one movie, and it's definitely 13 Ghosts because that movie's bad.
Not
Smile.
bad. Actually, fantastic, but no big deal. I mean, we all have bad opinions sometimes.
It's true.
No, but I'm glad that I'm glad
Sorry.
that we all haven't loved every movie so far. Like I'm glad that there are because dude, like so far, realistically, even if you took the average score on every movie, they're still pretty highly rated. And I feel like this one's gonna be too, but
Yeah,
I feel like
probably.
once we start diving into the movies that like none of us know, which aren't very many between the three of us here, that's when we're gonna finally get into the like, oh man, I don't know, because we're not gonna,
I feel like we would have to
we're not looking
try
at
to
like
go
the
out
big
of
Wild
our
West.
way to
Yeah.
for all three of us to virtually not like something. It's gonna be
There's some shit.
it's gonna be a
We're not.
well, to be fair, it's gonna be a
Well,
fucking cold day in hell when we find something that all three of us don't like.
we all, yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. Because we all also get like the schlocky, stupid shit. Like the movies that most people would go like, oh, well, I like The Conjuring, but like, oh, you like The Toxic Avenger? Yeah,
I
love
fucking
The
love the
Toxic
Toxic
Avenger.
Avenger.
I love
Toxie all day, boys.
I love fucking, I love, I love like weird schlocky. I love Dollman versus the Demonic Toys. Like I love stupid shit. Like I
Oh,
love, and there's
dude,
a lot of that I
that's
didn't
Great
so
see
movie.
old
before, but
school. Oh my
I
god.
feel like I can find a fucking little bit of a love and get
Well, like
over the fucking.
I feel like the big example
All these horror movies.
I feel like the one example I can say so far in that example is so when we did the remake versus the OG comparison, you can definitely tell Joe had a lot to say about the original Amityville Horror, and obviously if people want to go watch that, obviously I feel like that's still one of the best episodes we've had so far. I am one of the people that actually loved the OG way more than the remake. I think the OG is
I think that's awesome.
way better.
I think that's awesome.
I love the OG
more now than I did when before that, and that comes from research and the writing and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I adore I fucking adore the original movie. Loved it.
I'll say it right here. While we're talking about that real quick. Our YouTube videos, Poughkeepsie Tapes has got 80 something views, 80 or almost 80 within 2 weeks.
No more
And
than that. Yeah, 87 or
Army
89.
of Darkness is like 120 right now. That's wild compared
Yeah.
to like. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, you guys are fucking. Who's ever watching and listening? You guys are rad.
Mm.
Well, we all. I mean, I need to, as the
Jesus.
moderator of the Instagram, I need to start pushing that stuff more. I really do. I need to take a couple days and like just push some stuff soon. But
It's hard,
it's
dude.
all
It's
about,
hard to.
It's
well,
not easy, brother. It's not easy.
I'm also trying to let it happen naturally. Like I can only do so much, but at the same time, you also want like a natural fucking flow of things. You don't want to cramp things up. Like the Instagram, every day I sign into that thing another person's followers, which I mean, maybe that's just part of the community. Maybe it's doing it right, but I'm. It's also like a science project because I have other adventures, So I'm trying to see like what works, what doesn't work. But besides the point, let's finish this episode up as far as the movie talk goes because we're at the end essentially. So
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
put
we are.
into let's
Yeah.
put into great conversation about how friendship. We talked about that. I put oh shit, out of nowhere, fucking a little bit of a spat happens between Frank and fucking Michelle, and they kind of
Mm-hmm.
walk away from each other. And Frank, because he's getting attached, and Michelle won't. All of a sudden, they're having a little bit of an issue because this is when the jealousy scene happens. This is
Mm-hmm.
when the original one, anyways, where Michelle had confronted Henri without Frank around. Frank, is told this by Henri. All of a sudden, nowhere, Michelle shows up behind him. They go off in the woods. Frank can't get it up. Michelle kind of questions him, like, "Oh, what's going on? All of a sudden, you don't want me?" And he's like, "Well, I mean, it's okay for you to be jealous, but it's not okay for me to want you to be like into me after this, like that. So you want separation, but you're also jealous. So like, which one is it?
Mm.
Like, you can't want anonymity or discretion, and also have solidarity. Like, you can't have both. Like, you can't have both of those things.
Can I
And that's
throw in there with that?
I agree.
Can I throw in
But
there with that? I find
yeah,
fascinating where it's like the conversation between them is more relationship, but there's no like Frank definitely accepted the fact that maybe the guy I'm obsessed with killed another human being.
And that's
yeah.
metal as fuck.
And that that is metal as fuck. And I love that because there's nothing in this movie about that. It's more just it's more about it goes within the environmental influence of this spot and how they like, well, I'm gonna hook up with you. Am I serious? I'm gonna hook up with other people. Nothing ever came out about they maybe there's a part where he's like, oh, do you think I killed the person? Yeah, sure, but nothing ever comes out stronger after that. It's like
This is kind of like right around where that happens, and
yeah,
then
and I find that really
they
fascinating.
they kind of push each other a little bit here, and then it kind of
Yeah,
goes away, and then all of a sudden Michelle kind of just disappears. Because this is also when like creepy fucking jerk off Eric is trying to jerk off to those two like making out,
yeah,
and Frank is soft and can't get it up, and then creepy jerk off Eric is there, and then Michelle kind of snaps at him and is like, "Can you leave? Like we'll have sex later. Come back later." Like in other words, like I don't give a fuck if you jerk off to me, fucking him. But like right now, like is not the time when we're not even like we're just talking. Don't jerk off to me. And I actually kind of thought that's the way. If anybody ever clips that out of this, there you go. You're welcome. But that's true. Like that's literally the scene of what happens. And next thing you know, Michelle storms off, and Frank is there, and fucking creepy jerk off Eric. This is when we learn his name. He goes after fucking. I'm sorry. God damn, I was trying to hide that. Goes after fucking Frank finally, and Frank is like, no, 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 I'm good, I'm all set. Creepy jerk off Eric is like, you really know that I'm really into you. Like, do you know that I'm into you? And he goes, yeah, I know. Like, and I thought that was hilarious.
It's
yeah.
pretty
Frank just flat
obvious,
out was
but
like,
yes. It's like, yes, I know.
yeah, I know, but you can never touch this. And like Frank, fucking Borat voice, you're welcome. And then all of a sudden, next scene is like creepy fucking jerk off Eric turns into a creepy fucking blowjob Eric, and like just starts blowing fucking Frank on the beach, and like He lets him get off, and he tells him that he's got a great cock. You're welcome. We're 3
That
hours
was a
into the
great
show.
And it's
line,
like, hell
actually.
yeah.
That was a great
See?
line.
And I was like, okay, that's
I love
just
that
fucking.
the
That's a hell
awkward
of a,
handshake too.
that's a hell of a thing to say. Yeah. The awkward hitting, but
Such an awkward handshake.
there's such humor in that. With your man, if you can get past that, like there's such humor in that. It's supposed to be humorous. It's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be a little awkward, but like in the funny way. Like that's fucking weird, Like, but I get it. Um, then it kind of just goes from there, and he's Frank finds himself into the woods by himself again. And I put the fucking he goes to his car, another weird night late scene, and all of a sudden here comes the inspector, and he thinks that it's Michelle, and it's the inspector. The inspector kind of like questions him one more time. Inspector disappears. All well, sure as shit. Turns out fucking Nightcat Michelle was watching the whole time and confronts fucking Frank at his car after the inspector leaves. And now that he knows that Frank knows, but hasn't said anything, he knows that he can trust Frank. Still not trusting him, but like they now like the cat's out of the bag. Like, hey, Michelle knows that fucking Frank knows, and he's known for a while. But he's been wondering whether fucking he was gonna give him up to the inspector. Well, he doesn't give him up to the inspector. He gets to see it in person that he doesn't give it up to the inspector, and he even confronts him about that. So now, again, cat and mouse game, right? Like now we're playing that fucking game. A little bit more happens, and fucking next thing you know, the fucking scene of all scenes is the next day, and it's Henri confronting fucking Michelle.
Best scene.
Holy
That
shit!
scene is
Does this movie
wild.
fucking take a dude? Let me tell you something.
It
I even
was the
wrote this down
last
on my
15
file notes.
minutes.
Thank you. I'm gonna spoil it. Like, fuck it. We're at the end of this. We gotta tie this one up. Listen to me. The last I fucking love. I fucking love the last 15 minutes of this movie. It's perfect. If you can get through all the other stuff, if you're not into it, I get it. But if you can get through it and just watch it for what it is, and just get to the last 15 minutes of this movie, it has the best payoff you're gonna find in a movie in a long time. This movie is stellar. It's almost untouchable as far as I'm concerned, as far as like a thriller goes.
Yeah.
Because it leaves you in the right kind of suspense. Yeah, not that thriller, but I mean, still gay thriller, so it's close.
Damn.
You heard what I said. I made a Michael Jackson gay joke, but it's okay. We're 3 hours. It happens. We're all gonna laugh at that. We all know. Sorry. So then I put the fucking that scene is amazing. It's awkward. It's unsettling, and it's perfect for the scenario of what they're setting up. It really does go well because Bronco's off into the water. He's swimming by himself. Fucking. It starts off with them holding hands. With the next day, it starts off with Michelle and Frank holding hands. Henri's off the wayside where he sits. Um, Frank goes off into the water, goes for a swim because it's hot and it's nice outside. All of a sudden, Henri takes his opportunity to go over to Michelle, and you can see the uncomfortableness with Michelle sitting there, like, oh, okay, here we go. Sure, I'm gonna have to deal with fucking this chubby friend over here, and he does. And
Chubby
his
friend.
chubby friend sits down, and they have that conversation. And I don't want to give spoilers away, but if you don't pay attention to the fucking words that come up on the screen that are you are missing out because you don't understand art and you don't understand good movies and you don't
Dude,
understand. It's
I
perfect. Perfect.
the
Always take it
tension
away.
between Michelle and Henry,
Correct.
because you know the buildup of that jealousy. When you get to the nitty gritty of that island, of that spot, like, yeah, we got freedom, but there's still a weird form of judgmentalness and like and hooking up who you want to hook up with, and then people who are left behind. That's why you got a lot of like certain characters who are watching and masturbating while they're watching these other men hooking up, and there's a sense of, again, solitude, isolation, loneliness. So it's this weird, crazy buildup. So we get to this like point, and then you understand Henry. It's this is where it's like the writing it's slow, but it's extremely well done at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my fuck, I lost where I was going. I hate that.
We're talking about
no.
the confrontation between Michelle and Henri. No, yeah, Michelle and Henri. And
Yeah,
you're talking about
so
how, yeah,
so
this is the desperation. You can feel the desperation in Henri
that's
in this
what it
point.
is. So like, and I'm glad you said it because it makes me think of like,
He's calling Michelle out. He knows what he did. He's put two and two
yeah,
together now at this point.
and
And now
he
he's just
even
standing
like,
for his friend.
and Henry even said a few times is like, you know, where he was like mistrusting with Michelle. And he wasn't even trying to steal Henry from him. He was more like not Henry, Frank from him.
Frank, yeah.
It was more like I'm your friend, and I see what's wrong with this guy. You know, and like the toxicity with this individual, this human being. So it's like when he gets to a point where he's like, he's talking to Michelle and he lures him to the woods. That is like, holy shit! Like that was the look and like,
It's beautiful.
yeah.
It's so
I
well
mean,
done. It's
I
so
was
well
like,
done. And
wow.
I need to go to the
I love
woods.
when yeah, I love Ben. We're losing Ben.
Need to
Pretty
go
bad.
to the woods.
Ben's disappeared. So so I love that Henri just gets up and goes, "Oh, I'm gonna go for a walk," and like
Yep.
he knows what's gonna happen,
Woods.
and you know what's gonna happen,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
don't. You're not sure about what's gonna happen.
No, I think
So
Henri knew
Henri goes
exactly
out
what
to
was
the
going to
woods.
happen.
No, Henri knew and we knew, but realistically, until you see the outcome, you don't really know, right? So he goes off.
Especially because
Michelle
they tease
follows.
you too.
Correct. Michelle follows, and then Franck comes out of the water, realizes, oh no, Michelle's gone. Well, that's odd. Now jealousy kind of. Then looks over and oh no, Henri's gone. Oh no.
Paranoia.
Oh, now paranoia fits in, right? Like, oh fuck, like I know what's gonna happen right now. I might love getting jerked off by this guy, but I also want to protect this guy
Yep.
because he's my friend. So like now the cat's out of the bag. We all know what the fuck we all know. Shit goes down. Brock goes running into the woods, and here comes the crescendo of he sees some mischief happen. You kind of can't really tell if it's some sexual activity or some other
Yeah.
activity.
Very
You
well
pretty
done.
much know it was very well done. You know what it is, but they set it up where it looks like it could be some sexual activity. So you really see her like feet frolicking. You know what I mean? Like you don't really see what's going on. And then Michelle kind of gets up and okay, beelines back to the water, which he's done before, right? But
Yeah.
in both cases, after sex and after killing someone, so you
Very.
don't really know what you did.
I don't want to give too much away on that, but we will. But it was very serial killer like.
Oh, ooh, that will 100%.
That scene in general.
If you haven't gotten to this point, I'm telling you, the movie is Jesus Christ. It's so good at this point. This is the crescendo. Like this is why you watch this movie. This last
Mm-hmm.
15 minutes, it's literally poetic at this point. He goes over, so Franck runs over to Henri, and this is the line of the century, in my opinion. Ben, I think you're the one that quoted this perfectly earlier. What does Henri spout out to Franck
And he
when he's
said,
dying as his throat is slit?
he said, I got what I wanted. He said, I got exactly what I wanted.
So here's my question: what does that mean to you guys?
He wanted to expose to his best friend that Michelle is a piece of shit. That's exactly what he wanted. And if that meant sacrificing his own life to do it, because even he has said it, he's like, I'm depressed, I hate myself, I'm alone. What else do I got? Might as well fucking. He wanted to enjoy his vacation a little more.
I think that's part of it. I do think that's a big part of it, but I also think it more means um, I think he was over being alive and really didn't know who he was anymore. Like he really, truthfully, was at a crossroads of, well, I'm not married, I'm not gay. I also know what I've done in my past. I'm not willing to commit to this lifestyle, but I know that like at least I found one last person that cares about me, so I know that I'm not hopeless. Um, if my last wish is to show this person that, oh hey, like sex is everything have an honest relationship. Like my life was a mess. My life was a waste. I wish I could go back and have an honest conversation and an honest relationship with at least one person.
Right.
And she did.
Mhm.
Because we also don't, I mean, go real deep with this for a minute. What if we don't know anything about before the first day of this story?
Right.
Right.
What if Henri maybe had found out right before a holiday that he had colon cancer and was going to die in 3 weeks anyways? Real talk,
Right.
we
Right.
don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
That's a
we
good
have
point.
we have no idea. We have no idea why he was so like ready to just give up on life. We just know that he was, right?
He
So
definitely had something where he's content with his decision, but he was
correct,
content where he defended a human being like Frank, and he saw something good in this person.
correct.
I think he was okay with the sacrifice, and that was that was a very
Uh-oh. Do. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, that is the fucking worst. Well, you're gonna ask yourself, how did these Dookie boys get into this mess? Uh-oh. Oh,
Are
well
we recording?
that's one. Yeah, that's me.
All right.
It's on my end, so we are we still
It's
got
been
it.
a while that happened.
Yeah, but it wasn't just Ed. It
We
was
had
it was
been
you
a
too.
moment, and we lost it.
Yeah.
We froze.
Yeah, so and then it was me. I was quoting the Dukes of Hazard, and I said, "Well, you might be wondering where you got the Dookie boys got in this mess."
So you quote the dudes of Hags, that's why I broke.
Yeah, I quoted the Dukes of
This
Hazard.
motherfucker.
What else you gonna do in that? You got to ask
I
yourself, how'd the Dookie boys get into this mess?
I lost my connection here for a minute, and I have no idea
Oh
how
my
we were
god, it's
supposed
been
to
a
We all
while.
did.
It was great.
That was everybody. That was everybody. That was all. I think that was a Discord thing.
Okay.
So, well,
Fuck you, Discord.
yeah, fuck you, Discord.
Wait,
Yeah,
what do you mean?
nothing.
Yeah, that's good.
I think we were just saying with this, I think it's safe to say, unless you're thinking out of the box and just stupid, there really is no wrong way to think about Henri's ultimate decision on what he
He's
decided
correct.
to do. I think that is the pinnacle point of this movie that
Yeah.
solidifies its staying power and really
And
gets you thinking.
I put very emphatically, no.
Yep, I was
Yeah.
so
And
bummed.
we knew he was
Like,
gonna die.
no.
We knew. Here's my thing. I'll say this: with the title "Stranger by the Lake," I was like, "Holy shit! Does this mean the entire community, or does this mean Henry or Ed because he's doing a Stranger by the Lake dance?" So,
I'm gonna stranger by the fucking piss lake is what I'm gonna do.
we'll
Oh
see you
no,
later. He's
is K
he's
Dog in the
Bluetooth.
bathroom?
He's Bluetooth. He's gonna be in the
She is.
toilet. He can hear us.
I can still hear you guys. I'm gonna go into the downstairs bathroom. Go ahead.
So I almost had a moment. I was like, holy shit, is Henry or Michelle the killer because of the way they play off? Because, the inspector's like, hey, do you know if the serial killer is homophobic? That was
Yeah, and they were saying
off.
like he potentially could be.
Yeah, they played off that a little bit. So I'm like, holy shit, is Michelle pretending to be this way so he can get back? Or is.
What a long con.
Or who?
I'm saying if that's the case, and if he's actually homophobic, what a fucking long con that Michelle has on all of these victims.
Well,
Man,
I mean,
I'll get you
serial
guys good.
killers are fucked up. Serial killers are fucked up. They would do some shit like that. But then you also got Henry, who Henry's like, hey, yeah, I slept with guys, but most kind of confused, and I'm not. But I would love to have dinner and sleep with you, but not sleep with you. So it's like, holy shit, who is really the killer here? And there's a very fascinating. Again, there's a very slow burn cat and mouse play in this movie that if you don't pay attention, you may get 20 minutes of erotica, but then there's a certain line that will get you. You're like, holy shit, what's going on here? You know, there's a it's a very well written
and this is on the this is on the this is on the viewer too, because this is one of those.
Ben, real quick, what about interspecies erotica?
Oh my god. Random, I guess we'll give a shout out because Randall decided
Randall likes interspecies erotica.
That's true, and the actor who plays Randall is finally coming out of his little cubby hole and is on Cameo, and I'm so tempted to see what he would exactly, what are his boundaries on Cameo, because obviously the fans of Clerks and the View Askewverse are obviously all fucked in the head. So God bless you, but just know what you're gonna get yourself into there, buddy. That was like a big thing today, is that Randall is on Cameo, because like he always hides. Anyway, I feel like
I gotta look that up because I don't know what the fuck's going on.
I feel like that movie. Peachy. See, damn it, Jinx is.
This is Peach.
Yeah, Peach.
Hello, Peach.
I love Peach, dude.
Ben can't have the only dog.
I don't have a dog.
Hello.
Look at Peach. Oh my god, dude, she's the best. I love Peach.
Hello, Peachy.
That a movie like that. Oh, this is how you know it's a late one. This movie is definitely if you blink you miss it. Mainly on the viewer.
I
because
rewound a few scenes like, well, what the fuck?
You have to read all that dialogue, dude, and really take it in. This is a movie.
Yeah.
It's
Well, you have to take it in.
No, Michelle does, not I.
You dick.
Exactly, that's what they're saying. You dick.
You have to take it in. You dick.
You dick.
Can I say something real quick? I want to make fun of some serious, like, hardcore males out there, because I'm glad we covered a gay-centric movie where it's like all men, where a lot of men be like, oh, I'm gonna cover something that was all lesbian. No, we cover things that are men. So I'm glad we did that, because, like,
This is so classy and boring. Who gives a shit? We've all seen a woman. We've all seen a chick make out with another chick in person before. Like, come on, man.
Boring.
That's great.
Let's see two dudes.
That's such a fucking bullshit thing in horror movies too. Like, all right, shit. Ben just learned how to do my a microphone. Ben, is that a cell phone that you're doing it with, or
no? I have a nice big boy camera.
I know that, Ben. Is that nice long lens?
I just go.
Nope.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
I got that. I got that real shit. I got that nice Canon camera.
Excuse the fuck out of me.
Someday I'll have that with me. Hello, PG.
I'm called Scrooge for nothing.
Money bags, bro. All right, so now we got to the end of the movie, which I'm not going to give total spoilers, but I think is one of my favorite shots of the movie, where we watch the cat and mouse chase.
Yeah.
After Henri gets his slit, and then all of a sudden the inspector also gets the old,
that was surprising. I was impressed by that. I was like, holy
shit. Just walks up, fuck you, asshole, and bam, just gets him good.
And it looked very real. You didn't see blood packets burst. You didn't see anything crazy. It just kind of happened. You got it. And then all of a sudden out of nowhere, after sitting in the woods for a while and hearing your car and hearing what he hears, Frank kind of sits there in the grass, very quiet. Decides to finally get up, and next thing you know, decides to try to leave, and you get that wonderful moonlit from behind scene again, where the moon's kind of like glistening off of his shoulders, but that's all you see, or highlighting all his shoulders. So you don't see anything else, but you can hear, because you don't hear any score and you don't hear any sound design, crazy booms, bangs, soundtrack, nothing. You hear reality. You hear real sounds with the wind. You hear real sounds with the water. You hear real sounds with everything. You hear a lot of bugs and crickets in nature. So that's what's beautiful about this movie. And that whole time, the whole 2 hours you're sitting there watching this movie, you're getting set up for this one scene. You're getting set up for that, a long, drawn out, suspenseful emptiness feeling of a scene. And
I rewound that scene about 5 or 6 times. because I was like,
what a
I was
perfect
like, because you want to see if anybody's there where he's calling out Michelle's name, and here's the
There's
really
nobody there. You never see it.
yeah,
Unless
you don't.
You don't.
And here's the powerful thing about that. That is a so the whole entire time after he sees Michelle kill the inspector, excuse me. So Frank hides while Michelle's hunting him. And he's spewing the usual abuser dialogue. Hey, I need you. Come back.
Yep.
I still love you.
I
Come
won't
back
hurt
up.
you. Right.
Yeah, that's abusive. That is a abuser
You got it.
type of dialogue. Male,
Yep.
female, straight, gay. I don't care what anybody says. That is abuser language. We've seen that. We heard it. So Frank hides and he finally comes out and he calls out Michelle's name, which is like, why the fuck would you do that? Well, at the same time, like that's part of manipulation, that obsessiveness, that everything. And they end it there. That's real. That's
And now it's
really
it's up to you, the viewer.
It's very artsy. I appreciate shit like what you do.
It's up to you, the viewer.
The viewer.
The viewer.
You know, as a finale guy, I want to see a little more, but at the same time, I appreciate a certain form of artistic direction. That they fucking killed it there. That was like I rewound it 5 or 6 times. Like holy shit, what the hell happens here? And it's like that silence at that scene at the end says a lot. It says a lot.
Well,
I can't say
Joe,
what, but
it's almost like boom, boom, boom. Silence is deafening.
yeah.
Almost like a song. In the show. Anyways, so yeah, I'm glad that I'm not the only one who felt that strongly about the scene. Ben, what did you think about the finale of the movie? And then I think we should get into final thoughts and wrap this one up. Ben, go ahead.
All I really have to say about this, like the finale, like Joe just said.
Hello, Peachy.
Peachy. This is this will probably now be my prime example of less is more. Leaves everything up to the viewer. You get the interpretation of what you think Henri is gonna say. You still get you still get some blood. You still get some kills.
Very minimal blood though. That's what's amazing about this.
Mm-hmm.
Is some people might even because of the lack of blood other than the one scene with Henri getting throat slit, like there's no killing. Like there's one
Not
other
really.
scene.
Yeah.
It's a suspense thriller, which still falls in the horror category, and you still see somebody get killed. But like where the last movie, I was like, man, if they had just showed the fucking cop get killed, blah blah blah. Like this movie, I go, no, they did it perfectly. I didn't need to see anybody.
Yeah, I didn't. I got exactly
because you had a cast of
that's interesting.
6 people.
I'm the opposite direction, but we'll get to that.
So with
that's a good point. That's a good point.
I'll leave it like that. Is less is more, and I'll say this is my final thing, and then we can go into wrapping and final thoughts. Just like Henri, I also got exactly what I wanted with this movie.
Ooh.
Very good. Oh, okay.
Oh, wow,
this is gonna be a good one.
That was awesome.
I like it. Just so we're all clear here, when we give our final thoughts, what I threw, what I came up with for a final score was 0 or 1 out of 10 sandy beaches because I don't know what else to say.
Sandy what?
Beaches.
Beaches? Okay.
Yeah, because I could have come up with 1 out of 10 blowjobs.
Oh, we could have been way worse.
1 out of 10. I could have really went fucking deep with this one, Joe.
I was curious where you go with this, but yeah, Sandy Beach is
actually
better.
I went the fucking most coy way I could.
Yeah.
Because this
show you said coy earlier.
It could have been 1 out of 10 strangers. It could have been.
No, I'm gonna go with Sandy Beaches.
Let's go with Sandy Beaches.
Sandy Beaches, okay.
I went with the reason why is because now no matter what, the one truthful thing I kept on thinking through the whole time of this movie is, man, without a fucking towel, even with one, how uncomfortable is it to just lay on rocks?
No way.
And
With your
every
bare ass.
Yeah,
one
no
of those
shit,
beaches,
right?
every one of those beaches was rocks. Like there was no sand. They were just rocks. And
Yeah.
those motherfuckers. And then on top of that, dude, if you've never put your like, it's uncomfortable to put your bare feet into shoes, anyways. Like I'm a sucker guy. Like I cannot
I can't do it.
handle fucking shoes without it. But man, you want to talk about extra uncomfortable? You want to talk about blisters galore? You want to fuck your feet up for the fucking next month and a half? Go put your fucking soaked ass, just swam feet into
You
some
know,
fucking shoes without
it's
socks on. You
interesting.
were gonna fuck your shit up, dude.
It's fascinating you bring that up because, like, this is why I said Fight Club, because there's a point in the movie where you don't see Michelle at all. And then
Oh,
Franco's just chilling. He's chilling in a blanket, like, whatever. I'm going to do my thing.
oh,
And
can I
then,
share your blanket scene?
and this motherfucker comes out of nowhere. He
Yeah.
comes out of the water, puts his
Oh, I never
shoes
thought
on,
about
and
that.
I'm like, where the fuck you been, dude?
So is this?
I'm like, are
Are
you
you
Tyler
thinking?
Durden? What's going on here?
Are you thinking this is like a high tension kind of thing,
High
where like
tension,
maybe
Fight Club. I thought at first it was leading to,
I never thought about it like that
I thought,
ever.
when I thought Stranger by the Lake, I thought, okay, either Michelle is the killer, or Frank's the killer, or even Henry's the killer. Maybe Henry has some homophobic tendencies because of his past. But no, it's a straight up jealousy, obsessive story. But they played it so well, you don't know what's what, you know.
Right.
And that scene where like you don't see Michelle at all, he all of a sudden he comes out of the water. I'm like, what the? I rewound it. I'm like, where the fuck did he come from? And that's how well done as well with that shit. And with between the three, between Michelle and Henry and Frank or Frank, that's where the writing is really well done, and you don't know what's what until you get to the end, you know. So yeah,
I like it.
as a, as a,
I never thought about it like that, but I've also seen the movie multiple times now. So I think that's kind of where my brain loses that theory. But I love that as a first watch theory. Like I really,
yeah.
I'm actually very impressed with the fact that your brain went to that as a first watch thought process. Because this is the only time we've ever seen this, right?
Yeah, it's my first time.
And like you didn't get that from like reading a fan theory or anything. Like you actually got that from just
No,
you.
no, I did no research. I did no research even. You know me,
That's
I
impressive.
love plug-in
Yeah.
after I watched the movie. I said, nope, I'm gonna go based on our conversation with this one because like
Real quick, I think my dog thinks I'm talking to myself. She doesn't understand that you guys are on the screen and she can't hear you. So like I
yeah,
think she just thinks I'm talking to myself.
that's really funny. That's really funny.
She keeps she keeps looking at it. Watch the screen.
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't
Anyway,
want to do research on this one. The only thing I know is the trailer is like Hitchcock. And I'm like, yeah, I can see
yeah.
that just based on whatever, but I didn't want to do any more than based on our discussion.
All right.
And there was
Here's what
a
we'll do
lot of
then.
okay.
How's this? I'm ready to give my final thoughts. I gave 90% of my thoughts this whole time. I talked a lot,
Mm-hmm.
so I apologize if I took this one
Mm-mm.
over to anybody that's watching. But I kind of had a lot to say about this one. But I had a lot to preface this one with. If you actually take what we talked about the movie with, it's really not that long of an episode. But we've prefaced a lot building into this episode, so there was about an hour there. But we had some fun, and it's nice to just let loose once in a while, and we did. We all did. So that's great. Here's how I'm gonna go. So Joe just gave a pretty good solid synopsis. So I'm gonna have you start off with your score,
Okay.
Ben, and then I'll go last just because we've all heard me talk. And then we'll do our plugs and
All
wrap
right.
this up because we're going late. So
So I loved the character development. I'm a big fan of that. We said it before, the erotica did not bother me. I think it played very well with the characters. It's almost like sex scenes and kill scenes, they have to play a certain part with the story. I think they played very well with anything in this, and I appreciate boldness. I love that. My only problem with this, I don't want to use problem. My only issue with me how I watch certain films, it dragged a lot. I mean, to the point where I was like, "Holy shit, I need another coffee."
Wow, I'm actually
Yeah,
surprised.
yeah. I mean, I loved a lot about it. It. I wish whatever happened the last 10 minutes happened a little bit sooner. Maybe 10 more minutes to that intensity.
Yeah, they could have
Um,
cut some stuff out. I agree.
yeah,
I want to shut
I
up
think
there.
they dragged out too much, and that doesn't hurt a lot of the film. I think, depending on the person, it really um hits everybody differently. Me, I'm like, holy shit, this is a little too slow, but I still enjoy it. I still was embedded in it. So my official score is like, what was it? Beach stores? What was it? Beach?
Sandy beaches
Okay.
out of 10.
So
1 out of 10.
mine was 7.5 beach sandy beaches out of 10.
I like it.
Yeah, I can't.
That might be. Is that the lowest score Joe's given anything so
No,
far?
no, no. Edge of the Axe was 6.5.
Weird, and you're the one who suggested that movie too. So that's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
actually I'm glad to see that because then it doesn't show favoritism,
Damn.
No, no,
which
no, no.
my
It's
score might show favoritism. So
it's
and
a
I don't want it to seem
damn
like that.
good movie. I suggest anybody should see it.
I agree.
It's too slow to me, but it's well written. The
I agree.
characters are great. Um, it's very old school. And that's why I threw out all the other shit, Jade and single white
Yeah,
female and all that shit, and Basic Instinct, because it has that feel, but modernized and more ahead of its time. It's not females. It's gay men. You want to see that form of community. You want to see every aspect. I think it did very well with it. So
yeah.
I think you should. I think people should see it. It's a good movie. It's a very good
She
movie.
liked
So
it. It just I agree that the pacing could have been a little quicker. When I look back on the uh time overall, I agree. But
yeah,
it also gave us it gave us a prolonged episode, which we've been in dire need of for a while. So it's
yeah.
good to
The
hang on.
last 10, 15 minutes, I'm like, holy shit! Like that is perfect Hitchcock horror cinematography. They know what they're doing when they did that. I just wish it was a little sooner. That's it. That's it. That's why I did 7.5.
I like it. Now, Benjamin, what's your final thoughts? Go ahead.
Damn, that's me. Yeah, so I I feel like this one's gonna be surprising on my part. So I kept hearing about this movie, obviously from Edward up here, constantly being like,
Edward.
Edward, it's a deep one. It's gonna be a good one. There's a lot to it. It's gonna get you. It's just so I was expecting. So when I went into it, I was expecting a lot more. I thought there was gonna be a big twist at the end, or I thought there was gonna be a lot of gore and then lots of this and a lot of that, and it's just a lot of dudes fucking, and that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. I'm not saying that.
Hence, there's a lot. There's a lot to
There's
this
a lot
movie.
to take in. There's a lot,
Yeah.
and that means more than two
That's what
things.
I meant. And that's
Uh,
what I meant by it.
it
Not that
so
there's a twist. Is that
so the
there's a
movie
lot.
opens with a lot of dong, and I feel like that they use that as a way to drive some of the things, like obviously like sex manipulation and all that type of stuff. So I feel like the reason why I like this movie, and I'm not going to go into it at all. All I will say is, on a personal level, it. I know this is going to sound weird, but it definitely hit me. Not in terms of the exact context, but with the manipulation, all that type of stuff. It definitely hit me a lot. So I feel like it had me open my eyes to a lot of different things to take into perspective. And I loved it. I loved almost every second of this movie. There's a couple parts that I was like, like every time that Frank went to go speak with his friend and like with the old guy and his old balls are hanging out. I just feel like
that was unnecessary.
it's like
That had no
unnecessary,
payoff.
and like they like kiss each other on the cheek every time. Like there's no explanation to the friendship of those two.
Well, no, I mean that's a good point.
But
there's
no payoff with that.
Yeah,
Like,
they just talked and like nothing happened.
They could have cut that guy out.
Can I throw a different perspective of that? It's like
it.
That's what I was throwing earlier. It's like okay, everybody's hooking up with somebody, but he was like, hey, I know this person. We're friends. So I think it was throwing a different side. It was like, I got this person I'm more friendly with, and then I got this other person I'm obsessed with, and I got this other person where I relate to.
Yes.
And so I like that a lot, but I get what you're saying.
I feel like so where Joe says like stuff could have been cut out, and no, I'm not putting words in his mouth and saying it could have benefited from being shorter. I'm kind of the opposite. I feel like it could have benefited from being a little longer to give a little more dialogue, or if you're gonna do that, you know, refine the dialogue between the friend, like the guy who he always greets and he kisses him on the cheek, like the nice polite thing to do in European countries, and give a lot more dialogue that I feel like would have made a lot more of an impact between the two. A lot better interactions every time Henri is on the screen. Fucking brilliant. Michel, obviously he was really good in the role that he provided as well.
Yeah, the acting is amazing in this movie.
Last 15 minutes as a whole, awesome from me, but that's about it. I could gush about this movie just as much as we saw Frank gush in some scenes. So for me, for me, I will give this a 9 out of 10 sandy beaches.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's awesome.
I'll be honest, can't say I saw that.
I do. As much as I love me some blood and guts,
I am actually very surprised.
As much as I do love me some blood and guts horror, I fucking adore a lot of dialogue heavy character pieces. Like I just said the other day on the last episode, and then I'll let Joe go. I'm sorry. I adored. Oh my god, did I love that fucking movie? And I forgot the name of it off the top of my head right now. It's about like Iranians. Joe Bob did it. Joe Bob showed it on the show, and it's about the vampire. I fucking love that movie, and it's not a horror movie. It is by definition, but it's very dialogue, character driven, and I fucking adored it. Go ahead.
I agree with you. Like I say 7.5 only because I enjoy a little more fast paced, but I appreciate what this movie did. I think anybody should see it because of like there's a lot of power behind it. So it's a lot of great acting, great character development, but me, I want a little more fast paced to some degree.
You know, there's different kinds of horror that we get. For me, like, yes, I could sit here and tell you every day, I would love me if every single movie was like Dream Warriors. If I was sitting here and telling you that with a straight face, then we get you know, then we get Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. Granted, that's probably my personal favorite.
We get start talking some Freddy Krueger movies at some point.
But, you know, sometimes we could get a little vertigo from Hitchcock. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, you fucking jagaloons, as Peach is gonna sit here and listen to me talk to you guys and be very confused on the fact that I'm talking and nobody's in the room. I'm gonna simply put, I talked through a lot of this review and a lot of this episode, so I don't think I need to explain to you what I feel about the movie, because I feel like I let a lot of that out on the table, or left a lot of that on the table, I should say. So I'm interested. Joe makes a very good point with the fact that the movie could probably cut out shit, man, even up to 5 minutes of scenery or less. Like it's that just that minor touch probably could have
trimmed the fat,
made the story go a little bit, but none of it. 90% of it's just with useless characters, which is like the fucking old guy with his balls just hanging out. Like that guy could have just been, you know. I don't know if it was maybe once you show that guy just to show like, oh, here's an elder dude that's an old friend, and they're, hey, what's going on with the beach today? Oh, there's not much going on today. Wink, meaning like there's not a lot of dong to sling here, and whatever, like whatever the case may be, like that's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with that. Like
Yep.
they show that guy in a bunch, and the more they show him near the end, the more you're like, I don't really even get what he has to do because he never talks about the murder. He never talks about like the Tom Selleck guy. Like he doesn't really add to anything. I mean, I honestly I would have been okay if the movie was a little bit more trimmed down to the three or four main characters, meaning Henri
hmm
was probably still my favorite character in the movie, and
Oh
then
my god,
Franck,
yeah, dude.
Franck obviously, and then you have Michelle, and then the fucking inspector. If the movie was really truly about just those four, you could have cut the movie down to about an hour and 45 minutes. I think it would have saved about 15 minutes or so, 10 to 15 minutes, and you would have been like, I didn't really need to see, the fucking exploitation scenes and like
But I get
if
why
you
I did it, though. I get it.
I get it, and I think that's where they won so many
hmm
awards. But I feel like if you were gonna, I mean, shit, dude, just trimming that down, like literally just if you just cut out the overshot or over lengthened sex scenes, sexualized scenes,
Mm.
this movie would have been hour and a half long, and it still would have had.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like it still would have been almost just as impactful because the same idea behind the movie was used the whole time during the movie, meaning like long shots and beautiful setups and character building, and I don't know. I'm also somebody that's a big fan of fucking Phone Booth, the movie Phone Booth, which doesn't have a lot going on for it, and I'm also a big fan of what's that other movie? Fucking
Secret
Phone Booth is
Window.
really good. So, yeah, actually, no, actually, that's a good one. That's not what I
Like
was
It's a
thinking
that
of.
that
That's a
good,
good
takes
one,
place in
really.
it's
one
a
spot.
good
Because that
goddamn
that movie
story.
that
The
movie
movie's
has
okay, but yeah,
the
it
movie's
it,
got
it
like all
falls in
those
that
four
line.
characters
It
in it.
does fall in
Yeah.
that line.
So and I'm okay with that, or like whatever, anything that's secluded like that, right? Like Alien or fucking The Thing, or anything that that has more characters in it. It's still secluded to like
It's
one
kind of cool
room.
you threw the
Or
alien, the thing in comparison to the isolation
well,
of movie. It's
it's
wild.
it's a reality of it. I mean, if you're thinking about isolation, dude, like what movies are better than those two
Mm,
when it comes to isolation? Like there aren't any. Everything nowadays is essentially just breeding off of that. And they kind of just
yeah.
fucking feed off each other. So like whatever. But so I'm not going to prolong my opinion on the movie any further, which I already did, even though I said I was going to. I'm going to just flat out actually. I can't fucking believe I'm saying this, but I'm actually matching Ben and was full blown written. Not you've never seen me pick this phone up and type any notes on this phone. This is where I've read all my fucking notes off of my phone. My normal phone is the one I record from. This is like my secondary phone. This is where I type all my notes. Not once that I've opened it back up a couple times. 100%. I have a 9 out of 10 sandy beaches or man's ass cheeks or whatever else, beautiful things, whatever you want to call it. Like 9 out of 10 is what I gave this movie because as I was watching it, and I'll tell you, it wasn't that going in, and I had seen this movie ahead of time. So like my score going in was like probably closer to like a 7 or an 8. So
Mm,
right around where Joe was. Like I was actually more where you were, Joe.
yeah.
Seeing it off of like 2 real times before. Watching it last night and like really like dissecting, which is what we do here, the plot points and man, the cinematography and the lack of score for what, excuse me, is actually a beautiful thing. It's very nuanced and it's very hard to pull off. It's very hard to pull off a good suspense thriller without sound. Fucking name one that you know of without like enlightened or in heightened sound rhythm. You're not gonna find
Oh
very,
man,
if any. Like there's very few.
it
So
follows is one of them.
but it follows as a beautiful score that
Yeah,
helps
it
it.
does, but
This has
still,
Does
none.
Hard
Like there's
Candy?
no score at
yeah.
all.
The Hard Candy is one that, but it must. I'm sure
I
it
didn't see
does.
hard candy. I'm trying to
But
forget
but
it.
but do you see what I'm saying with that? Like
I have to think
there's
about it,
no
and I can't think of anything.
there's never one
Yeah.
time where you ever even hear like you don't even hear a car radio in there. Like
There's
you
a
hear
few.
nothing but
It's been a while. It's been a few of them.
You hear cars rolling on fucking rocks and like.
right. You hear it. You hear things. So the sound design is great, but there's no score, and there's zero soundtrack. Like there's nothing other than sound design, which is still a prevalent thing in this movie. But it's not. It's not like a lot of what we harp on. We're like, oh, hey, that song fit that scene really well, or like, oh, that score set the tone really like in the fucking jump scare. There was no jump scares. And there was no fucking like bad usage of like great quality sound design. It was just a fucking movie, dude. And that's what's I think at its purest form what's so beautiful about this movie. It's
Yeah,
I'd be interested to see, Joe, your opinion if you watched it a second time. I'm not saying go run out and do that.
I will
I'm
at
just
some
simply
point.
saying, yeah, I'm just simply saying
You know,
that
I'm gonna throw out there when it comes to like certain like gay horror movies. Um, the movie Cthulhu from 2007 has similar themes to it. Not as exploitive as Ginger by Lake, but to like, oh man, I wish I got. Here's the thing: I gotta find a way to all of the three of us see Cthulhu and then talk about it because it's very similar to like gay horror, and then throw Lovecraftian horror in there too.
I'm
It like
down. I'm
I
down.
did it for Scars Magazine. I still have the DVD to this day. I would love to watch it and then mail it to you guys and watch it, and then we'll talk about it if we can't find a way to rent it. So, yeah, I forgot my point. I was getting with that, but you know,
It's a movie that you want us to review and watch,
yeah,
and what
that
we can
is
do
like
is maybe we can plan that on the next time. Maybe me and Ben will take a trip down to Philly, or maybe the next time you come up to here, maybe we'll plan on watching it together, and that'll be a
it,
special event. Who knows?
it throws what we're talking about now with like fuck. I really forgot what I was going with that, but Cthulhu is a really good film. It's a really good film, really good indie film.
Joe, if
So
it helps, this is what probably the most buzz I've seen you in a very long time. I'm impressed because that blackened will do that to you. I've drinking that before,
oh, well, I had
and
a
it's
few
been a while.
IPAs before that too. So,
Yeah, so you're having a good
but
time, and I'm
I had a
glad.
point. I was going with that fucking movie, but
No, you're good. I'm very glad to see the fact that you truthfully. It seems like you really actually let loose in this one, which is nice, and that's kind of the design behind this one. Now, as far as we thought, you know what we thought, you know what, you've heard us now for almost 3 hours talk about what we think about this movie. Go check it out for yourselves. Go think of what you think about it. We're
yep.
gonna announce what we're gonna do next soon. We don't have any announcements as far as what we're gonna do next. We don't even know what we're gonna do next. I know there's a thought of some series on Netflix, which I'll figure out with the boys probably tomorrow.
Yeah,
And
because
maybe that'll be in
it
the next
still
season.
plays with this a little bit because
Yeah,
it's
I'm down. I'm down to
oh
watch
my
anything.
god.
I'm down to
I
watch anything,
geeked out.
especially
I watched this movie and Stranger by the Lake today, back to back. I was like, holy shit.
the fact that you guys actually sat and watched this movie and gave real reviews on it. With I'm down to watch anything you guys have
Mm,
to offer. So, knowing the fact that we do need to get some guests in here soon, which we'll start doing soon. But
yeah, I got yeah.
let's give some plugs and let's get the fuck out of here. We've been doing this for 3 hours, so let's do it.
Is it been three? Holy shit.
Yeah, it's 1:30.
Right now, yeah, it's at
Wow.
3:02.
Yeah, yeah, it's been, but it's I love the Friday night shows. We're not gonna be able to do this often, but when we do them, this is exactly what I want out of it. It's just fucking three friends hanging out. And we happen to talk about a movie, and that's what's beautiful about it. So, go give us your plugs, Ben. You give us your plugs, and then I'll finish up and let's get the fuck out of
Holy shit. Ah. So on Twitter, I'm JCW Horror Writer, I think. You'll find me. Whatever. uh Instagram and Slasher app. I am JC Walsh 81. Amazon, you'll find my first two releases, Death Highway and Within the Abyss. I am also part of Dark Words anthology with 12, 11, whatever other awesome authors. I have a short story in there, and I also do horror movie talks with Amanu Rosmilli on his page on his YouTube as well. We break down 4 movies, very different how we do this crazy shit, and wherever Ben's holding is my first book. Just read it. It's like Phantasm and crack. So if you like Phantasm and Lovecraft, you like that thing. So I'm done.
I'm so fucking cutting that out and putting that up on the internet. It's like fucking Phantasm on crack. So just
It
go
is
buy
on
it.
crack. There's
Like,
no
I
plot.
love,
I mean, whatever.
I
You don't
love it.
like plot?
I
I
love
don't
it
give a
so much.
shit.
No, we don't
It's a
need plot.
crazy ass story.
Dude,
We don't
we
need
just
plot
watched
all
a
the time.
2-hour movie about dudes sucking each other off.
There's no plot to
Hell
that either.
yeah.
No,
Fuck it.
we can just have fun watching a fucking movie. Just
Stop
like
being a bunch of fucking snuts.
And then on top of that, Randy. So Benjamin, I was gonna call you is what I was gonna say.
That's me.
Go
You
for
can
it,
call me
Ben.
whatever the hell you want. All right. What's up? What's up, man? Wow, I don't know why my brain just broke. I feel like I'm buzzing. I didn't even fucking drink anything. What's up?
Jesus.
Scroogey boy, Scrooge champ. You can find me on, obviously you're watching right now, but if you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on Spotify, first off, thank you very much. We love you guys for it. Second off, twitch.tv/Scrooge champ, Instagram Scrooge champ, Twitter Scrooge champ. That's where you're gonna find me. Excuse me, I'm a little piggy. I stream
Bless you.
regularly. Thank you.
I'm a little piggy.
I'm a little piggy. Right now we're streaming such games as Blasphemous, Hollow Knight. We're probably gonna be doing Ori, or we're gonna be getting ready for Tales of Arise. I'm probably saying a lot of words that these two definitely will not know. No, nothing.
Oh, you talking about gaming shit?
Oh yeah, video games. Games similar to what I'm wearing right now. Bloodstained, one of my favorite games ever.
Cthulhu bless you is a whole other world.
If you guys like Castlevania Symphony of the Night, you will watch exactly what I'm doing right now.
I'm trying to get a habit. I'm sorry. I'm trying to.
No, it's okay.
I think it's awesome. I watch a few gamers, Matt Heafy, Trivium. I watch him play, and I think it's awesome. You guys do that shit.
Oh,
cool.
yes, that's right. Yeah, no. What I would like to say is it is a fucking literal addiction that I have. I can confirm it. But I love it. That's what I do, dude. When I'm working, I watch news on it. When I'm not working, I play them, or I fucking think about it. I finally like just gone full. It's like video games and horror movies for me. Like, I love music, obviously.
I love it.
Love music more. Obviously, I wasn't gonna say more than anybody, but because you two. But for me, dude, fucking video games all day, horror movies all day. Or movies just in general. I love it, dude. Holy shit, man! I can't get enough of it. The second I get off of here, you know what I'm gonna be doing? Playing Donkey Kong Country Returns on my 3DS, boy, and loving every single goddamn second of it. And if not, hey, Metroid Fusion. Besides that, too, we got that too.
Jesus.
So yeah. Anyway.
Oh, I feel old. How you doing?
I have no idea what the fuck Ben just said.
I just said a lot of words. I said a lot of words.
I know that
generational gap.
I play one. Yeah, I play one single game with him on my mobile device, which is the one that I also use to stream here. So I cannot show you what I play because it's Marvel Strike Force. So go find me and we'll go find Marvel Strike Force. Me and Ben. I'm Eddie_Vegas. Ben is Sweet Gin Music, I think is what it is.
I am.
JH. I am. We're in Marvel
That's another
Strike
video
Force
game
together
reference.
In the same cloud. Yep. I am not a proprietor of video games.
A proprietor. Holy fuck!
And what's hilarious is Ed was the one that got me into it.
I am the one that got him into it.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a sealed copy right there, boy.
Which I'm proud of. But I lost that, and like I have friends that play video games, and like religiously that are in my age group, and I don't understand it. But I'm also I have other attributes that I focus on, and that's where I go. So I get where somebody goes, well, I don't know why you're at the gym 6 days a week. Well, it's because
you like it. Yeah. That's my thing. It's like I like it.
I don't bust Ben's balls about liking video games. I just don't know what you're talking about. And it's not that I don't like it. I just don't know it. So that's it. I have movies and I have horror movies on top of that really I'm very passionate about, which you all have caught on to now. So where you can find me Eddie_Vegas. You might hear my dog barking. He's barking because he hears fireworks and it's crazy right now. Eddie_Vegas on Instagram. Big E 1984 on fucking Twitter, which I don't really use all that often. You can find me on what is it, Facebook? Eddie Vegas or Eddie Sherman. Either way, it's easy to find me. I'm also the person who runs the Bonded by Horror Instagram page. So if you find us on there and you happen to like any of these videos that we put up, I'm the one that you'd be interacting with. But I also do run pretty much everything by the boys before I interact with anybody, before I go and say something on my own, because we are a unit and we are a team, and this is the way things should be done. We are together in this fucking venture. This is a show. This is not a podcast. This isn't fucking anything other than what it is. This is a movie review show where three fucking lifelong friends truly dissect movies together and respect each other's opinions, and that's what we do. And sometimes it gets silly. Sometimes we say things that are a little crass. Sometimes we say things that are a little um, out of left field that you didn't expect us to say about a movie. You didn't expect us to say it on. So my long-winded my long-windedness. See, I'm ready to tap out because if I can't talk anymore, this is my moneymaker. If I lose that, I'm good. I'm out. You lose me, guys. I'm the fucking bread and butter there. So here's where I'm going to wrap it up. I truly enjoyed this episode. We're at 10 now. Lord knows where we're going to go from here. The sky really is the limit as far as horror movies go, because now we have 10 honest shows in the tank, and like that's typically like the make or break milestone for a lot of people when it comes to doing things like this. Like you're either gonna like keep on going and fucking see how far it'll take you, or you're gonna go, yeah, this is fun, guys, but man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. I fucking love this, man. I don't give it was just as hot as it was 4 days ago in this room right now. I'd be doing the same thing. I'd be sitting here just as long. So, I love the fact that we do this. I love the fact that these two gentlemen right here, whichever way they are on the screen that you're looking at, are part of this with me on this venture. And Bonded by Horror truly is Bonded by Horror. Like we are three people can join because of one entity, which happens to be something that freaks some people out, or makes some people uncomfortable, like this movie. So, Stranger by the Lake, go check it out. Tell us what you think, and like, subscribe, comment on our shit. We have a YouTube, we have a fucking Spotify, and that's it. And I'm gonna leave you there. Also, where's Joe? Joe, to me, when we do these shows, are right here, but I think he's right there, above me. Is Joe above me when we record this?
Nope.
Above?
Nope.
To the
Nope.
right?
Nope.
Left?
Yep, there he is.
To the left?
Yep.
Yeah, but
He's-
you're pointing up. Ben,
yeah,
you're pointing up.
Yeah,
to me.
I know that. So it's no, I'm pointing. This is you.
Sorry.
This is Joe.
Yeah.
Wait. What's
Doesn't mean
Eddie's
anything to me.
rating on this film? Did I miss that?
Me?
Yeah.
He gave it a 9.
9 out of 10.
Holy shit! Wow, I
You
missed
missed
that.
it. Yeah, it's all right. That's
Okay.
why I was like, holy shit, Ben gave it the same thing as me, which blew my mind. So
okay.
I
That's what
love
it's-
this movie. I love
Yeah.
this movie. And it wasn't, I'll tell you this much, going into this movie last night, it wasn't that high. It was closer to like a 7. It was closer to like a 6.5, 7. And I
That's
liked
why
it.
I'm
Yeah.
at 7.5 based on pacing. It's a really good movie.
Yeah, I think because I've seen it a few times now, I think I kind of I look past the pacing thing. I think I kind of
That's awesome. I
look
think that's
into it.
awesome. I love
So
that.
that's why I was saying. That's why I brought it up a little while ago. Like, I'd be interested to see what you think of this movie on a second watch. I think you'd find more out of it. Which is odd.
It could
Because
go come
sometimes
close
longer
to
movies,
8-ish. Yeah, with me.
yeah,
Good.
second viewings on long watches are tough. But
Yeah.
that's why you're only gonna watch this episode once. It's a long one. But this whole episode is a long one. You know what I'm saying? Hey.
Oh.
Oh. All right. Here's the deal. We're out of here. Join us soon. Pay attention to the Bonded by Horror page, and you'll know what we're doing next.